Just outside of San Diego, overlooking the Pacific Ocean, one of the most beautiful settings in all of golf. And this weekend, it is the site of the national championship, the 108th U.S. Open. And hi again, everyone. We welcome you to Torrey Pines on what promises to be a very special weekend here on NBC as we look forward to today and tomorrow in prime time. And things certainly got interesting yesterday as Tiger Woods climbed the leaderboard. A 30 on his back nine, one of the best nine-hole performances in U.S. Open history. Woods will start the final round just one stroke in back of the Australian Stuart Appleby. Woods in search of his third national championship and his 14th major title. We'll get you out to the course shortly, but we start with some other sports news. Soccer, Euro 2008 is underway. That's, of course, essentially the European Soccer Championships, and some very good games taking place today. Earlier, Spain broke a 1-1 tie with Sweden in the 90th minute, actually scored 2 minutes into stoppage time. Spain now 2-0 in the tournament. In tennis, Wimbledon gets underway just 9 days from now. So over the next 2 weekends, a number of grass court tune-ups taking place in Europe. And at Queen's Club, the two likely challengers to Roger Federer's dominance on grass, both involved in semifinal matches earlier today. Rafael Nadal defeated Andy Roddick in straight sets. It's been 36 years since a Spaniard won a grass court tournament. Roddick, by the way, had won this tournament 4 of the last 5 years. Nadal will face the young Serb Novak Djokovic, who steamrolled David Nalbandian in the other semifinal. Djokovic has never won a grass court title either. Should be a good final tomorrow between Djokovic and Nadal as we look forward to Wimbledon. Time now for our Lincoln Financial look to the future, and for that we turn to yesterday's news that instant replay might be coming to baseball, and quickly, possibly as early as August, to help mediate home run calls. This comes after a rash of blown calls over the last several weeks. That one in Yankee Stadium. Major League Baseball and the Umpires Union would have to reach an agreement before replay can be implemented, but it sure sounds as if replay is on the way. Amen. Lincoln Financial. Hello, future. Well, USA Today is covering the U.S. Open, and it's also covering an awful lot more with the U.S. Olympic Gymnastics trials getting set to get underway on Thursday. We have a sneak peek of Monday's edition of USA Today, featuring the Russian-born American gymnast Nastia Liukin. Liukin won the 2005 and 2006 national all-around title and finished this year's competition just 1 point behind Shawn Johnson. USA Today visited with Liukin as she pursues her dream of winning Olympic gold in Beijing. For more on the story, pick up a copy of Monday's USA Today. And our coverage of the U.S. Olympic Gymnastics trials can be seen next weekend. The men's trials next Saturday afternoon, and the women's trials in prime time both Saturday and Sunday night, featuring Liukin and Shawn Johnson. And we remind you, being first means everything. Every second counts. The all-new NBCSports.com, consistently first to deliver the biggest stories, breaking news, trades, rumors, and reports. The all-new NBCSports.com. Be the first to know. Well, there you have it. You're up to date. We'll see you a little bit later in the day. Right now, enjoy the third round of the U.S. Open from right here at Torrey Pines.
This has been the Lincoln Financial NBC Sports Report.
Fog-shrouded seaside and the coastal cliffs just north of San Diego, the site of Torrey Pines Golf Course. The crowds gathering for today's third round. Yesterday, those crowds were electrified by who else? Tiger Woods. After a relatively slow start, Tiger posted 5 birdies and an almost unheard of 30 on his back nine. That briefly put him into a tie for the lead. That is until Australia's Stuart Appleby holed this lengthy birdie putt on the 18th to take the lead by a stroke, and in the process send 11 players home as the cut moved down a notch. Now, as we look at the leaderboard, the names at or near the top tee off about a couple of hours from now. Phil Mickelson is already out on the course. He began the day 7 strokes off the lead, and right now through 5 holes, he is 1 over for the day, and as of now, 8 off the pace. Hello again, everybody. I'm Bob Costas, along with Dan Hicks, Johnny Miller, and the rest of the crew. We will be with you throughout the day and in most of the country into the night with the U.S. Open Championship at stake. If yesterday was any indication, we should be in for a memorable weekend of golf. The story as of late yesterday, of course, Tiger Woods, with question marks surrounding him coming in, but those question marks turned to exclamation points with his stunning back nine performance. Now, after 36 holes, he's in prime position to claim his third U.S. Open title and his 14th major. He and the other 79 players who survived the cut vie to succeed Angel Cabrera, who did not, as the 108th United States Open champion. So Tiger is back, and so too is the Open, back in Southern California for the first time in 6 decades.
California dreaming, where the future of the game hopes to follow in the same footsteps of the present day's 2 greatest players.
I grew up here in SoCal. Everyone has a pretty laid-back attitude. Everyone's pretty mellow. Everyone says dude or like. So for me, it's just home.
Another boy's dream began here in his own backyard.
I had just started to walk, and my dad gave me a cut-down club. And I would watch him and get a mirror image of him.
And for 2 days, the 2 young dreamers collided on their home turf in a U.S. Open. Torrey Pines, once their junior stomping grounds, now the ultimate stage for their latest showdown. One with a U.S. Open score to settle. The other trying to overcome a 2-month layoff and the reality that it wouldn't come pain-free. And after a day 1 virtual draw, golf's dynamic duo treated galleries bursting at the ropes to a Friday showstopper that tore through Torrey. Then, after another knee-knocking moment, number 1 gave us his next strokes of genius. While one rekindled his major fire, the other was left smoldering. A furious Friday finish has the world watching and wondering if he'll need to stagger to the finish to etch his name again in U.S. Open glory.
Little Ben, Goliath of golf.
The United States Open. This is the greatest golf tournament in the world.
The older you get, the more thrilling it gets because the harder it gets.
Haynes Stewart is the 1999 U.S. Open champion.
He's won it twice before, but never this close to home.
It is something that I'm very familiar with and feel very comfortable every time I come back. It is coming home.
NBC Sports and the United States Golf Association are proud to present a national championship. Today it's live 3rd round coverage of the 108th United States Open. And still waiting for that familiar marine layer to burn off here in the early afternoon on the west coast of California. A stunning setting, Torrey Pines and its south course situated high on the cliffs of La Jolla, California in the San Diego area. For many years, it's been a regular PGA Tour stop, but this week it is transformed into a bona fide U.S. Open championship test. Deep rough along its fairways and greens, which can stretch out to more than 7,600 yards. The longest layout not only in U.S. Open history, but major championship history. And so the record massive galleries here excited about the prospects this weekend in just the 2nd daily fee course to ever host this national championship. And among the early arrivals here, among the contenders, Ernie Els, the 2-time U.S. Open champion. Davis Love III will be among the contenders at 1 under, 2 back. And there is the leader, Stuart Appleby, with 8 career PGA Tour wins, still chasing that first major championship. And here is the leaderboard after 2 days of competition here at Torrey. Appleby by 1 over Woods, who will play in the second to last group with Robert Carlson. It'll be Rocco Mediate in that last group with Stuart Appleby. Rocco trying to get it done here in a U.S. Open as well. Davis Love the third at 1 under. Among the other players under par, Westwood, some international figures, including not only Ernie Els, but Jeff Ogilvy. And they will play together once again. Ogilvy, the champion a couple of years ago at Wingfoot. Camilo Villegas, can that aggressive power game from the young Colombian get the job done here? Padraig Harrington, the reigning British Open champion at +3, along with two-time U.S. Open champion Retief Goosen. All of these players certainly in the picture here. The +3s beginning the day 6 shots back. And there is Phil Mickelson at +5. Mickelson +1 through the first 6 holes so far today. Needed a good score today to try to get back into the thick of things here, but let's go check out what the local product is doing. This for birdie at the long par 4-6. Dan Hicks, Johnny Miller, our entire NBC golf crew here bringing you this 108th U.S. Open.
It's great to be here. It's great to be in Southern Cal, and it's wonderful to be at Torrey Pines.
And over to the 5th, Sergio Garcia.
And his second shot, Dan, here at the par 4. Location today over on the middle right portion of the green. Little shelf to the left of the hole that you can use to kind of funnel the ball in that direction. And that's exactly what Sergio does.
Greens are holding okay, Gary?
Yes, they are, John. We still have that kind of marine layer that the players have talked about.
Huge crowd surrounding the 18th green in the stands, and Brent Snedeker leaving this short, you might think, but this is a huge back to front tilt at 18 with water in front, a rare par 5 finish at a U.S. Open championship.
Yeah, it is rare, and it's shaved on that bank, and if you hit by the hole with a spinning wedge on your layup, it'll come right back into the water.
Snedeker at +4. There have been some better scores out there today.
As we move over to the 5th, where Hunter Mahan has a lengthy putt for a birdie. Mark Rolfing with this group.
And he's off to a good start, Gary. 1 under. Sweeper to the right here.
Putting off the higher part of the green down the slope. And up to 18.
And back to Snedeker for his par. We mentioned some good scores. This for a 68, 3 under for Snedeker, who tied for 3rd at the Masters.
He's not out of it.
And the runner-up in last year's PGA Tour stop on this course, and back out to the 5th.
And Garcia lining up this putt for birdie. And Mark, a nice comeback for Sergio Garcia. What was he, 6 over par after his opening 7 holes on Thursday?
He was. He's played very well since then, Gary. And you know, we talked about it at the Players. He's got that youthful exuberance now in his style of play. Just walking down the fairway, he was chatting and smiling again. And I think when he acts like that, he plays a lot better.
I think that start is just nerves, Gary.
Yeah, it seemed like it, Johnny. He hit some very poor shots as well. He could not get the ball in the fairway. Started out double bogey at 1 and a bogey at 2. So, but he has struck the ball extremely well. Shot a nice round of 1 under par 70 yesterday.
Well, he was #1 in greens hit at the Players Championship where he won.
That should turn a little left. Another good effort. Shake of the head. We'll see that a lot around here, won't we, Johnny? These greens tough to read.
Yeah, they are. You got to factor in the ocean and the Poa annua and the little bumps.
All right, so Garcia and company trying to move closer to that 3 under number posted by Stuart Appleby after the first 36 holes. And just a little while ago, Roger Maltby had a chance to catch up with the midway point leader.
Thanks, Dan. Stuart, you ended with a bang last night with that bomb at 18. That make dinner taste just a little bit better?
Well, it would have. I mean, the opposite of that is, you know, 3 putting and leaving a terrible taste in your mouth. But that was a big bonus. I mean, I didn't hit a great drive, you know, laid up. Probably most guys were going for it for 2. and looking at good birdie chances. And then I had a divot lie, didn't hit a great shot out of the divot to 45 feet to make that was nice. To make that anywhere in the round would have been great, but I think the last was just a little bit better.
Now, you've been in this situation before, last year at the Masters, 02 at the British. What can you take from those experiences and use in the golf course this weekend?
Well, I guess the first question you should ask yourself is, how did you get to this part of the tournament, you know, this part of the leaderboard? And obviously I'm doing enough right things to be, you know, at the top of the leaderboard. Now, to stay there, I've got to maintain the focus on those things, which will be, you know, obviously picking the sides of the fairways you want to be in. As much as the fairways are so narrow, you really would like to pick the ideal locations to get back at some flags. Then hitting greens. That's something I've never been a high stat leader in greens hitting, but last week was a good numbers for me. Didn't putt any good, but hit a lot of greens in Memphis. So, and then just being relaxed enough to just play golf. I mean, that is hard. You're playing a major. You know, you're trying to be as relaxed as you can. The nerves are there. You're trying to balance that out with concentrating on your game. It's a real test. It's a physical test as well as a real mental test.
Well, thanks for your time and best of luck to you.
Thanks, cheers, man.
Back to you, Dan.
All right, thank you, Roger. Stuart Appleby in a pretty chatty mood as we go on to the 7th, and Bob Murphy with a call at that par 4.
And Phil Mickelson from 160 yards. The whole location today up in the top right corner. Comfortable little shot for Phil, and that's a good one. It's not jam up to the hole, but you don't want to go over the screen.
And over at the 9th, the long par 5, Justin Leonard has a very makeable putt for birdie. That for 3 in a row.
He doesn't miss too many of those, Gary.
No, he doesn't. And he was looking for that ocean to pull that ball to the right. It did not happen. Let's go up to the 18th tower.
All right, Gary, speaking of the ocean, here with California native Johnny Miller.
Yeah.
And to date, most of these U.S. Open championships, Johnny, occurring up the coast. At Olympic Club, your stomping grounds, and of course Pebble Beach, but just the second U.S. Open stage in Southern California, the first time since 1948 when Ben Hogan won at Riviera, and these fans are jacked for this championship. They set a Friday record yesterday, nearly 53,000 on the golf course. Who knows what more attendance records are going to be set over the weekend, but needless to say, they have waited a long time for this.
They have, and when we were here last week, you could just feel the electricity and how much anticipation. And this golf course is like their child. They want to know, what do the pros think? How's it playing? Is it good? Do we do everything right? And it's pretty cool to see that enthusiasm, and they've come out.
Have they done everything right here, in your opinion?
I'll tell you, usually if you go on the putting green Wednesday afternoon, which I did, and ask players what they think of the course at all, we go, this and that, the rough's too long, the greens are too bumpy. Every one of them said, I love this course. This is the greatest setup I've ever seen for a USGA US Open. And so I think the course was tougher than the players assessed, though. I think they thought that it was another San Diego Open, but it's really done well. -3 after 2 rounds without the weekend nerves is a pretty high score for leading.
And so many local products have tended to do well here in this regular PGA Tour stop, including Tiger Woods, who's won 6 straight events here. What is it about the familiarity here and maybe the California laid-back style that makes local products play here so well? Not only Tiger, but Phil, who's won here 3 times as well.
I don't know. You know, it's the guys that are back east, live in Florida and Texas and stuff. They don't win too many times on the West Coast. I sort of like that in my career. Thank you. But yeah, Tiger has won here 6 times in the last 4 years, and Phil's won here 3 times also. So the Californians definitely dominated here, and I really thought it was going to be a Tiger-Phil showdown, but Phil is missing too many fairways. He's only hit 6 fairways out of 14 2 days in a row. So you can imagine how many fairways that is. That's a bunch.
Went without a driver for the first couple of days. We'll get into that maybe a little bit later on. But first of all, let's introduce you to the rest of our broadcast team. You've already heard from Gary Koch and Bob Murphy on the towers along the cliffs here of Torrey Pines. Roger Maltby will be joining that Tiger Woods group a little bit later on. Mark Rolfing, Dottie Pepper round out our walkers on the ground, and we'll hear from Jimmy Roberts a little bit later on in the telecast. And David B. Fay, the executive director of the United States Golf Association, with us here at 18. And out to the 7th.
And just a moment ago, Dan, Adam Scott from the area that's a drop-off area over to the left of 7 green. Adam is just not clicking, you know, he's just not quite driving the ball like he wants, and his iron play is not as sharp, and so as a result you end up in funny places.
And our first look at 16, the lengthy par 3, 232 yards.
Yeah, back into that coastal wind.
Yeah, exactly. That is Todd Hamilton's tee shot, and this is a beauty. Hamilton playing in his 6th U.S. Open, and I'm happy to say the first time he's ever made the cut. So he's enjoying his experience as we go to 7.
And Mickelson's birdie putt, and Dottie, you're there.
Yeah, Murph, it's a putt that should move right the entire way.
Boy, it just didn't move, did it?
Played it right where she described it, didn't he? So that's the story. Phil taking his driver today. He went off of that 3-wood theory. Stuart Appleby yet to go, as well as Tiger. Good rounds out here today, so should be some terrific action.
There's a lot of wind today.
Yes, there is.
Greens fees at Torrey Pines, $240.
Gotta clear the hazard.
Lesson after lesson after lesson, $55 an hour. Cleveland Loft Wedge, $110. Remembering to have fun while you play, priceless.
Nice.
For conquering the course, there's credit or debit MasterCard. Get into the game at priceless.com.
Attention, American congressmen and congresswomen. I know many of you love golf. Well, you'll want to take action against these offensive products. The NXT Tour and NXT Extreme. Titleist has admitted to enhancing the aerodynamics. And get this, an alignment line to help you putt. Foul! I call for a congressional investigation, and I myself would be willing to testify. So, help me out. There's a free trip in it for you.
Wow, you're really into golf.
Oh, you should see Jim. He's really into golf.
Hey, this afternoon's meeting got pushed to 3.
He really is into golf.
Oh, that's not Jim.
Oh, my.
FedEx, proudly bringing you the FedEx Cup.
What you thinking about, honey?
Butterflies. What are you thinking about, Daddy?
I'm thinking about butterflies, too.
But, Daddy, aren't you worried about protecting your company and employees in the changing global economy? Are you tapped into the right capital markets expertise to help manage your institutional assets? What about life insurance, college, retirement? You need a smart financial plan, you know.
We're with AIG, honey. So I'm just thinking about butterflies.
Oh.
The AIG companies, the strength to be there.
South Course at Torrey Pines hosting its first ever U.S. Open Championship. The Open Dr. Reese Jones paid a visit here back in 2001, stretched it out, really rebuilt all the greens, moved some of the fairways and those greens closer to the cliffs here. You've got the Kikuyu grass to deal with and that U.S. Open rough, which is graduated for the 3rd straight year in this U.S. Open Championship. And while we were away, this was Phil Mickelson's tee shot at the par 3 8th, 181 yards today.
He doesn't like it. But he can handle that.
All right, now live with Adam Scott, who has gone birdie on this hole, Dottie, the first couple of days, but he doesn't like this one.
He almost made a hole-in-one here yesterday, and 2 inches from the hole hit the pin.
Well, this time it'll be a lengthy birdie try for Adam Scott, who is the 3rd-ranked player in the world and had the honor of being in that unprecedented super pairing yesterday, which had Tiger at #1, Phil at #2, and then we mentioned that Adam put 2 deuces on the scorecard here. There was the chip in on Thursday. And then yesterday, this was the near ace that you talked about, Johnny.
Yeah, he's posing here. He's saying that looks pretty good. The green's blind, so you can't see what it's doing here. He doesn't know it hit the flagstick. Watch the shrug. Watch this. I don't know where it is.
So Scott with a pair of 73s the first couple of days. And he is currently at +5 for the championship, +1 on his round. He's a full 8 shots back. Well, this was a moment ago at the par 5 18th, the 3rd for Paul Casey.
Well, that water is a real issue. A lot of guys will be hitting it long on the 3rd shot here because they're not sure how much is going to back up. And watch this.
Closely mown banks, and that's what happens. That pond there is closely mowed all around it and even into the fairway. I mean, it is just inviting golf balls.
Say, no, we're not at Augusta, Georgia, but it looks like it.
And over at 16, Todd Hamilton with this short putt for a rare birdie, too. Nicely done. Hamilton to 8 over par for the championship. And we move over to the par 5 ninth. Mike Weir with his third shot.
He's practicing that first move again, huh?
Yeah, he has gone back to that very distinctive waggle. Pretty easy hole location here today, Johnny. The guys are taking advantage of it, and Mike Weir with a beautiful shot. He'll have that short putt to get to 2 under par.
And Mike Weir's putting's coming alive, Gary.
Oh, look at this live for Sergio, Mark.
Well, you know just how soft the bunkers are. He hit it out of the right rough downwind, and it buried.
This is the longest par 4 in U.S. Open history at 5:15.
Ooh, ooh. Just another foot, and that would have run right down by the hole. That didn't look good, but it actually was very close to being terrific.
That hole is a converted par 5, and this was a hole that was thought about for a while, being a par 4 as Vijay Singh comes in with his third, but the USGA electing for maybe some birdie eagle excitement down the stretch, and so we've got a par 5 here.
And Vijay changes his grooves more than almost anybody, and that pays off there. He comes out of the rough with spin.
Speaking of rough, Mickelson, but the lie doesn't appear to be too hard to handle, Dottie.
No, it's actually quite a good lie. He'll be pitching back into the wind, and although I think he needs to come reasonably close to the fringe to get this close, and I don't think it's dangerously close.
5 wedges in his bag yesterday and Thursday, Johnny.
He always goes airmail, doesn't go parcel post.
Well, that one was not Mickelson-esque. And we showed you his tee shot here on this hole, and there is no one in the field that wants to win this championship more than Mickelson. Lives down the road 10-15 minutes, knows that in the prime of his career, which is right now, there will never be another better chance to win this championship in his own backyard. Growing up as a little boy here in that makeshift practice facility that his dad had built. And how would you like to wake up in your town here and read this? Mickelson's no driver experiment is a flop. Johnny, he was heavily criticized for not going with a driver on Thursday and Friday, but the driver was in the bag when he teed off earlier today on this third round.
Yeah, he was getting outdriven, the big thing, by Woods and Adam Scott by 20-30 yards, and he was missing more fairways than they were. So that's quite the combination.
And you saw his driving accuracy numbers there. In fact, out of 156 players in the field the first 2 days, Mickelson 135th in driving accuracy.
Gotti?
Well, uphill putt across this ridge, moving to the left.
Putting away from that ocean, it's hard to hit it hard enough.
Very slow.
So these two great players are making a bit of a mess of this little short 8th.
Garcia scrambling to the long par 4 6th. This his 4th shot.
Tough to get the right distance. He got a good strike on it. That was very nicely done.
Just a few more rolls and that would have gone down for par. Garcia gives back his first shot of this third round. +5, 8 behind. And we go back over to the 8th. Dottie, Mickelson for his par.
Well, you guys talked about the bag changes. The driver is in the bag today with 1 less wedge. Also appears to me that there is a 3-wood in the bag that has a lot more loft than the one he had in round 1 and 2 that only had an 11.5-degree loft to it.
The reason he was being criticized, Dottie, really came into clear view yesterday when Tiger was taking out driver and just crashing it down the fairway, and he'd be some 50-60 yards ahead of Mickelson.
Well, no greater example of that than at the 13th, where Phil really had no chance, and Tiger hit 5-wood in there, a small 5-wood to make eagle.
And up ahead at 18, Singh trying to finish his day with a birdie
after a beautiful third shot. DJ
Singh makes his 14th consecutive cut in this championship, but the score is just too high. It appears to contend again. 76 on this Saturday. Let's get over to Bob Costas.
All right, joined by Tim Rosefort, senior writer, Golf World magazine, with a few behind-the-scenes items. Let's begin with Tiger's swing coach, Hank Haney. While Tiger was zooming up the leaderboard, Haney was kind of experiencing a downer.
That's right. He had food poisoning. He didn't want to make a big deal out of it, as he told me this morning, Bob.
But that's what you get for having to be Tiger's food taster. I mean, somebody's got to do it.
Didn't want to make a big deal out of it. Tiger's out there basically on one leg. But Hank knew that Tiger was ready on Thursday after that opening practice session here on the range. Coming off the range, he said it was his favorite warm-up ever. Tiger has a routine, Bob, where he goes through 9 different types of shots, different trajectories, different ball shapes. With every club in the bag, he nailed every shot. Now, I know he went out and made double bogey, but really, the way he warmed up that day was an indicator. And also, 2 weeks ago at Isleworth, when he first came out and started playing again, Hank told me this morning he recorded a 30 for 9 holes there. It was just a matter of whether he was going to be able to walk around the golf course.
Foreshadowing the 30 on his back nine yesterday. Rocco Mediate, high on the leaderboard, putting extremely well of late.
With that short putter, and that's unusual for him, but, you know, Rock has been dealing with back issues for almost 2 decades now. A year ago, though, in Los Angeles, met a physical therapist, Cindy Helfman, who really turned his career around, allowed him to play pain-free and to putt pain-free, too. This year at Hilton Head, he went back to that short putter. Little trivia question, back in '91, he beat Curtis Strange, first guy on tour to win with a long putter. At the time, down at Doral, at the time, Curtis, the 2-time U.S. Open champion, going for 3.
Now, if golf had an official disabled list like other sports, not only would Tiger just be coming off of it, but so too would Stuart Appleby, although the public knows much less about that.
Way under radar. You know, 2 days after Tiger had his surgery in the United States, down in Australia, Stuart, his knee buckling in a Tavistock Cup right after the Masters, went down and had arthroscopic surgery. Right knee, had a meniscus cleaned out down there. His swing coach, Stephen Band, told me it was sort of typical of the Australian farm boy attitude, not to make a big deal out of it. He was been back playing 15th at the Players' Championship 3 weeks after, again, just the first surgery versus 3 on Tiger's left, his right knee versus his left side. But as Stuart told me yesterday in a car driving back up to the locker room, it was really no worse than getting a tooth pulled, and he didn't even have to take painkillers.
So, like Tiger, no excuses.
Absolutely.
They're not hedging any bets here.
Not out of the Australian farm boy.
If you're hurt, you don't play. If you can play, you're not hurt.
May not be a contact sport, but you think about all the torque and compression these guys take, they're hurt all the time, and you don't always know about it.
All right, Tim, we'll check with you later in the day.
Thanks, Bob.
And now let's check what's happening out at 8.
Thank you, Bob. I can't believe they didn't update your knee surgery.
I'm over the hill.
All right, Adam Scott for the par, just short. So he...
not a good hole for this group.
After going birdie, a bogey for Scott, falls to +6, and guess who has arrived not far from where he, opened the gates. It's like the king has entered the grounds. 2:50 local tee time coming up for the 2-time U.S. Open champ.
It began with 4 professional golfers given 4 Lexus courtesy cars. What followed was hardly surprising. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. The meeting was at 10:30 on the dot. The drivers listened attentively. Then, with a simple exchange.
See you at the Open.
It began.
Let's go, let's go.
You see, the competitive spirit is never idle. And when each was given the chance to drive a Lexus to the Open, competitive golfers became competitive drivers.
Your number. Every person has one. But what is it? It's what you'll need to have saved to retire the way you want. We're ING. And when it comes to planning your retirement number, we can help make it easier. Learn more at ingyournumber.com. ING. Your future made easier.
Nobody's going to have a better price.
Doesn't hurt to look.
Don't
say it. Don't say it. Don't
Nobody
say it.
had a better price.
You said it.
Lowe's believes you'll get the best price around with our everyday low price guarantee.
We'll take it.
Find a better price on anything we sell, and we'll match it plus take an additional 10% off.
Maybe we should shop around. Trust me, just buy it.
Lowe's, let's build something together. So get the best price around with our everyday low price guarantee.
June 28th, the world focuses on London for tennis's ultimate test of excellence. Experience the sights, the sounds, the spectacle, the tradition, the championships. Wimbledon returns in 3 weeks to NBC.
And while we were away, the action at 17, Gary.
And Daniel Chopra had this for a par, drove it about 40 yards right of the fairway, chopped it up the hole, and just tapped it right in. Daniel Chopra remains at 10 over par for the championship. And we'll go to 3.
And Padraig Harrington for a birdie. Really nice 67 yesterday. And that's what I've seen so far. Guys overreading that putt to go left. Over at 18.
And this was a moment ago. Jared Lyle, the 26-year-old Australian who's miraculously playing in his first Open, diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia back in '99, bed-stricken in the hospital for 9 months. And this is not a great way to end your day.
Pretty good shot, but just too much spin.
But just a great story of perseverance and the qualifiers and the folks who want to compete in this Open Championship.
Over at 7, Sergio's ready golfing.
He's got 166, Bob. A little bit of a downhill lie in the fairway.
Like a nice swing, nice rhythm. And a good shot. Absolutely hole high, very makeable.
Well, you see Rocco Mediate lurking at another U.S. Open Championship. Let's get a word with Rocco and Roger Maltby.
Okay. Thanks, Dan. Rocco, so many players view the U.S. Open as kind of a meat grinder, but you seem to have a different approach. You seem to like it. What's the deal?
I do. I always have, Raj. It's just the ultimate test, and you get to see what you have. And if you don't have something, it shows you very quickly. So I love this type. I love you don't have to make 9 birdies a day, and you shoot around par every day. Pars are actually good here, which is what they were invented for back in the old days. So the golf course is perfect, and you know, like I said at the beginning of the week, around even par is going to do you good.
Now, you had good finishes in 01, 05, top 10s. At age 45, can you close your eyes and picture Rocco Mediate as the U.S. Open champion?
Yeah, but yeah, I can do that. It's just a matter of I have to be, I think we all do, but being that I don't hit it as far as some of these guys, I have to be ultra precise, because if I miss, I got a problem. I can't get there. So if the short game stays intact, I'd like to be there with that back 9. I'd love to see what I could do.
Thanks for your time, and good luck to you.
You got it. You got it. Thanks, Ron.
Dan?
Thanks, Roger. As proof of how much he likes this championship, all those pins on his hat are from previous U.S. Open championships where he's purchased those and put them right on his hat. And he would be the oldest champion in history, Johnny, at the age of 45 and change, surpassing Hale Irwin in that department, if he's able to hold that trophy tomorrow.
It'd be a huge upset because he hasn't done a lot in the last couple of years, and but he's a sure likable fellow.
Out to the par 3 11th, the amateur Michael Thompson, who was the runner-up in last year's U.S. Amateur Championship at Olympic Club.
Good-looking player, huh?
Yes, he is.
Hey.
Colt Knost won that championship, but Michael Thompson could have ended up with a trophy very easily as well. And that is back-to-back birdies for Thompson, who moves it to +4. Only 3 amateurs made the cut. Another youngster who played in that amateur championship up the coast, Derek Fathauer. 3 of the 11 amateurs made the cut, after no amateurs made it to the weekend of the previous 2 years at Wingfoot and Oakmont. And there is the man that finished runner-up last year to Angel Cabrera, Tiger Woods.
All eyes are on him, aren't they?
And over at the 9th, 612-yard par 5, Phil Mickelson with the lumber out, Dottie.
Well, and having a chance to do something he has not been able to do in the first 2 days, and go for this green. 281 total, and it is right at the opening of the green.
Gets a very firm bounce and will unfortunately go all the way through the green. And Adam Scott will be next to play.
Just 2 yards closer. This hole hasn't really been real good to either one of these players. They've played at a combined 1 over par. Adam even, Phil 1 over.
2 great drives, though, huh?
Terrific drives.
Uh-oh.
This is well right.
That's what he did here
right
yesterday,
of the bunker.
Dottie. Yeah, went for the green yesterday and threw it way right. But with the hole over on the left, he's got a chance today.
Tough shot.
And Gary, back near this 9th tee yesterday was the site where Adam Scott's caddy, Tony Navarro, you see him right there, actually went under the ropes and confronted a couple of spectators here. Apparently they had been giving his man a hard time, and Tony had had enough, went under the ropes. Later, those 2 gentlemen, a father and a son, were escorted from the grounds handcuffed. There have been no legal charges filed of any kind, and so Tony is on the bag, and there might be more development in this story down the road, but at the moment it's where it is. Tony's on the bag, and those 2 were taken off the course yesterday.
That's unusual.
Well, Dan, yesterday the big story was, of course, Tiger Woods playing with Phil Mickelson, and given our location, it kind of made sense. It did seem like some scheme hatched in the mind of a Hollywood impresario, a pair of insanely talented Southern California players, guys who've coexisted at times uneasily. Throw them in the pit together amidst humbling conditions and their own infirmities and challenges, mix in galleries driven to delirium thinking about the possibilities, and then just stand back. But as is often the case, when something is hyped as impossibly good, it can frequently prove impossible to be that good. Right out of the box, Woods started with a 3-putt bogey.
I think he just played it too far out there, misread it.
Another bogey 2 holes later, and the pairing seemed like it might have been a good idea, but not much more. Then, though, a hint the day could live up to the rabid hype. Woods put his second shot on the green at 13. And then he drained the eagle putt. 1 hole later, Mickelson started to struggle. But on this extraordinary day, even the struggles were at times brilliant. With a lie at the 15th that was the worst of the worst, the golfer who learned the game on the green in his own backyard behaved as if he was right at home. And at 18, the rough which had confounded so many, he made seem like some kind of simple backyard game. But both players turned in 38. Hardly the type of numbers memorable days are made of. And when Woods lost his drive to the right on 1, it seemed time to dismiss this fairy tale notion of a day which would be truly special.
I got off to a poor start, bogeying 2 of the first 3, and then I made that eagle there, get back to even par. Then all of a sudden I dumped. I feel like I lost 3 shots there because I bogeyed 16, 17, and then I don't make birdie on 18.
If this was a disappointing play, then this was the intermission when you might have headed for the exit. It would have been a big mistake, because this was a play where the second act was blindingly brilliant. Standing on the cart path, Woods lit the fuse to a side which exploded over the next 9 holes. Birdie at 1. Birdie at 2. Again at 4. And again at the 5th.
Not to be outdone, at the third hole, Mickelson made a cover-your-eyes par. And then trimmed a stroke 2 holes later. Woods' day, which started so inauspiciously, couldn't have ended in a more different fashion. This putt on 9 was the 30th stroke of his inward side, a preposterous figure given these conditions.
Today, I was just trying to, to be honest with you, just trying to get back to even par. That's all I was trying to do, and I just happened to make a couple more putts. And all of a sudden, I started writing them in there from everywhere.
At any golf championship, Thursday and Friday should never be confused with Saturday or Sunday. Just not the same stakes. They gave out no trophy yesterday. Doesn't mean, though, that what we saw wasn't one of the great prizes in U.S. Open history. You know, odd as it seems, yesterday kind of reminds me of when Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points back at the Hershey Arena in 1962. There were only a couple of thousand people there, but through the years, hundreds of thousands have said they were there. Who knows, years from now, only 52,000 were actually here. Maybe millions will say they were here. What a day it was, Dan.
Absolutely, Jimmy. Special theater on a Friday. Tiger has done it before. That is score 30 as you look at his lowest 9-hole totals in major championships. You harken back to that 97 Masters when he went out in 40. And remember, his second 9 was 30, and he went on to win his first major championship by 12 shots at Augusta National. He was out in 38 yesterday, so a similar flip-flop. Out to the 9th.
And Adam Scott's third shot, able to loft the ball softly onto the green, and what a play. Very fortunate that the hole was on the left-hand side of the green. Plenty of room to work with as we go to 7.
Sergio now from a very nice putting position, slightly uphill, little left to right slider. Speed. He got it. Nice rhythm in his stroke. Sergio moves back to +4. Back to 9.
And Mickelson's third from just over the back of the green.
Get a bit of a stinker on the last hole. Didn't get it up and in, came up short.
Yeah, no, this one's a lot better, Johnny. Running down the slope. This has got a chance. Beautiful shot. Back over to 1.
Woody Austin just beginning his day from the bunker at the first. Austin beginning the day 5 off the 3 under lead.
He's got some energy, doesn't he?
Oh, Woody Austin at a U.S. Open. Talk about great theater. He's got the palm tree shirt in full bloom.
Those Southern Cal palm trees all over him.
Garcia at the tee at 8. This was one of those greens that has been firming up particularly well throughout the course.
It's a shallow green and an uphill hole, so it's hard to get the right distance, and he under clubs there, obviously.
Made a nice baton catch.
Good thing it would have hit him in the head.
Over to the 5th.
Where 26-year-old John Merrick has this putt for a birdie just a moment ago.
Only 2 over, huh, Gary?
Yeah, well, John, now he's only 1 over, 2 under par early in his 3rd round.
Wow.
From Long Beach, California, went to school up the road at UCLA.
Another Southern Cowboy doing good.
Yeah, absolutely. At the 9th, Mickelson for a birdie. There we go. Driver in the bag, allowed him to get to the green in 2. Good pitch. And a nice birdie there.
Well, as we lead up to the last few tee times, we're going to have some fun. Email golf on NBC at NBCSports.com to ask Johnny Miller a question. And who knows, your question may end up being answered later in this telecast as our Ask Johnny NBCSports.com contest continues.
Tuesday, it's back.
I love it.
America's Got Talent, the ultimate underdog competition.
Yeah! You're going to Vegas.
All new America's America's Got Talent, Tuesday, 9/8 Central on NBC.
Toyota's full throttle sales drive is on, and the deals are red hot. Like this zero due at signing lease on Corolla, or get 0% APR financing, and with 35 MPG, looks like you win. Or take advantage of zero due at signing on the 31 MPG Camry, America's favorite car. But zero down and zero due is going fast. Now at Toyota's full throttle sales drive.
At Papa Murphy's Pizza, thin is in. Thin as in our herb chicken Mediterranean delight pizza. Thin as in cracker thin crust, 100% real mozzarella, grilled chicken, fresh spinach, and sun-dried tomatoes, topped with feta and zesty herbs. And finally, thin as in a thin waistline because you get fewer calories and a skinny little price tag. Try our herb chicken Mediterranean delight pizza for just $7.99 because thin is in. Handmade, home-baked. That's Papa Murphy's.
Every car maker's focusing on fuel efficiency, but they've forgotten about the power. At Nissan, we do more with a drop of fuel than any other manufacturer. The dependable Altima, versatile Sentra, and reliable Versa. 3 performance sedans with 31 miles per gallon or higher. Lease the Nissan Altima for $199 a month, or get $1,500 Nissan cash back on Sentra. Nissan sedans. Lean, mean, driving machines.
Thank you for making KCRA3 Sacramento's #1 news source.
This 108th U.S. Open Championship is being brought to you by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. By AIG for insurance, investments, retirement. AIG, the strength to be there. And by Lexus, exclusive vehicle of the USGA and U.S. Open Championship. First couple of days that marine layer burned off, but Snoopy 3 still kind of cruising in the June gloom up there for the moment, providing the dramatic views of Torrey Pines below. You can look to the skies for the MetLife blimps as they pass through a town near you. Out to the 8th, Garcia for par.
Not an overly difficult putt, but a little slower than you think. Yeah, just barely got it to the hole, and he thinks it was a spike mark, but Sergio, that was not going in unless it hit a hubcap.
So those are 2 bogeys sandwiched around that birdie at the 7th. And Garcia slips to +5 to 13.
Yeah, a moment ago, Trevor Immelman for Eagle. The hole today, 539 yards downwind. We're going to see quite a few of these should you hit 2 excellent shots.
I thought he might do better, Murph, because he's the best driver of the ball in the game today for hitting it in the fairways.
Just gets away from him.
Yeah, Immelman won the USGA championship back in '98 on this Torrey Pines course. And as you take a look at those tee times coming up and some of the names, Davis Love III will begin his 3rd round 2 back. And just a little while ago, he had a chance to talk with Roger.
And a qualifier.
Thanks, Dan. Davis, it's been a while since you've been in the hunt in one of these. How's it feel?
It feels good. You know, I've been getting close to playing well all year. You know, I've had 2 good rounds or 3 good rounds and never really 4. So looking forward to a good challenge this weekend, and I'm excited about it.
Got a game plan for this weekend?
I'm going to try to do the same thing I've been doing the last 2 days. You know, get in as many fairways as you can and hole some putts. You know, I think that's the key here. Obviously, you can't play out of the rough, and if you don't make putts, you got no chance. Whether they're for par or birdie, you got to be excited about trying to hole a few putts in the U.S. Open.
Before we let you go, is the ankle a factor at all anymore?
I think like Tiger, it is at night. It gets a little sore. But while I'm playing, it honestly doesn't bother me. You know, Jack Lumpkin has to remind me every once in a while to get on it, you know, and turn on it. I'll get lazy and kind of fall back. But other than typical swing mistakes that I make anyway, no, it doesn't bother me at all.
Thanks for your time. Good luck.
All right. Thanks, Roger.
Back to you, Dan.
Thank you, Roger. Davis says he still ices it at night. He turned 44 in April. Johnny, what about Davis's chances?
Well, he is playing pretty darn well tee to green, and his putting is magnificent. I mean, his putter is holding him in there mostly, and that would be a really quite a story because he hasn't done much at all the last couple of years.
All right, less than an hour away from Tiger time. Teeing it up with Sweden's Robert Karlsson at 2:50 local time. Just about close to the dinner hour. Back on the East Coast. Over at 15, A moment ago, Brant Job's second. This a 478-yard par 4. Tough hole through the years in the regular PGA Tour stop here, but not for Job. Just out on the front of the portion of that green. And over at the 10th, Adam Scott getting ready for his second, Dottie.
Well, he played an iron off the tee, now 128 yards to that right front hole location. A little bit of breeze has come up helping from the right.
Always a tough shot. Short irons with the ball below your feet. You don't see too many great shots off this lie. Guys pull it all the time. I know the books say you're supposed to push it, but pros come over the top of that all the time and pull it.
The 10th, some 14 yards up ahead of its 414 yards on the card. Another one of those holes that have been moved up today, making this course again about 200 yards shorter than the card.
Yeah, it was moved up and actually played from a completely different angle, further left.
This is a great angle, but I don't know about the lie. The sand is fluffy.
The sand is fluffy. It's a hook sort of ball flight that'll come out of here. The ball itself sitting fine.
Easy to hit it heavy, though.
It's actually coming in pretty flat.
Well, it's better to hit a little thin than fat. I know that. It'll sure show Adam Scott the line.
So Mickelson could use a Tiger-like second 9 here if he's going to get back into this championship. There is the leader, Stuart Appleby. Only 2 Australians have won previously this championship, David Graham and Jeff Ogilvy a couple of years ago. Back in a moment.
What have you been doing?
Playing baseball.
Ah.
Bye, thanks.
Where's the ferry? No boat. No boat? È un debacco, è un disastro. We could swim across. Swimming? There it is. Well, what's going on here?
Hi.
Engine trouble?
It's broken.
Well, maybe I've got an idea.
For auto, home, and business, Travelers.
We got ADT because I walked in on a burglary once. The physical damage was pretty bad. The emotional toll was even worse. What that robber really took from us was our peace of mind. With ADT, we got it back.
Every 15 seconds, a burglary takes place in the United States. Help protect your family with a fast alarm response of ADT. Call now and save over $250 when you buy ADT's family package. ADT, always there.
Hi, I just got an alert that my checking was low. Yeah, I'd like to make a transfer. Thanks.
Who's that?
Chase, I was almost overdrawn.
Scary.
Chase free account alerts help you avoid fees wherever you are. Control matters. Chase what matters.
No. In this game, we enforce the rules ourselves. That's why I'm my own referee, line judge, official, umpire.
Well, it's a good thing you're playing with a man of integrity.
At the USGA, we believe one reason golf is so special is that the rules we established and maintain are ultimately enforced by you, the USGA, for the good of the game.
Integrity.
Can 3-time U.S. Women's Open champion Annika Sorenstam fend off a few young guns and capture the trophy once more? The U.S. Women's Open, June 28th on NBC.
Mentioned the record crowds yesterday here at Torrey Pines. Most of them trying to get any kind of position to check out Tiger Woods, the #1 player in the world. And if he's practicing, doesn't matter where he is, you look for a spot to check him out. We've got our cameras right inside the ropes there, so good look at Tiger getting ready for his 2:50 tee time, 50 minutes from now. Mickelson at the 10th.
Downhill putt, pretty quick. Not a lot of break. He was playing it to break right, and it did break at the very end, but not very much. But a pretty good leave.
And up ahead to 15, we saw Brant Job's nice approach. So this to get to +3 within 6.
He hit it. He waved at it. Didn't keep the handle going. You got to keep the top of the handle going with the bottom of the club. And if you don't, if that stops, it pulls left.
And over to the 6, we pick up the Californian Merrick here. Long birdie try.
Nice.
And that is going to be a really good par at the 6th. Played in just one other U.S. Open back in 2005 at Pinehurst, where he missed the cut. And back over to 10, Adam Scott coming back to the hole for birdie.
He knows the line. It's about a ball and a half outside left. It looks like it's too high. Got it out about 5-6 inches, and he crunched it.
Adam Scott came into this championship with a broken bone on the lower portion of his pinky, but he says it really hasn't affected him too badly here.
And over at the 9th, Dan, there is Darrell Fathauer, Derek Fathauer's twin brother, as we watch Derek putt for a birdie at the 9th. Derek, one of 3 amateurs to make the cut.
Used to be the visors were the thing, weren't they, Gary?
Yeah, Johnny, I can remember that was your trademark.
I know, but they're sort of rare nowadays.
Twins, of course, both playing for the University of Louisville.
Yeah.
Oh, what a good putt.
That was quick, Gary.
That was, yes, down the hill as we go to 10.
And coming back for par is Scott.
Now that is quite a 3-putt after seeing Phil's pace, Phil's line, and you still 3-putt.
All right, in less than 10 minutes, we've got Ernie Els from South Africa and Australia's Jeff Ogilvy. 3 U.S. Open titles among them. And then checking out the other contenders, international pair here of Luke Donald, who's had success here in the PGA Tour stop here with a couple of runner-ups in the Buick. Robert Allenby from Australia, Lee Westwood, and Miguel Angel Jimenez. Jimenez has the round of the championship with a 66 that he turned in yesterday. And then this all-Southern group, All-American group, Davis Love and DJ Trahan, the youngster from South Carolina. And in the second to last group, Tiger paired up with 6' 5" Robert Karlsson from Sweden, both at 2 under, one back of the leader Stuart Appleby. And there is Rocco in the final group on this Saturday at the U.S. Open. That comes your way 3 o'clock Pacific time, 6 o'clock out east. So just getting settled in here on this 3rd round Saturday.
Going to play a draw. You can see he's on the left side of the tee, aiming at the right bunker, trying to get a power drive in, draw into that wind.
Well, the nice thing is, Johnny, you can land it short and the ball will release back to the hole. So that is very nicely done.
Wow, I'll say.
Over to 1.
And this was a moment ago, Oliver Wilson. Impressive young player for birdie, beginning at +1. And how about that start immediately to even par for the Englishman.
Nice read and nice putt.
And over at 11, 215-yard par 3 down the hill. Difficult par 3. Dottie.
Yeah, down the hill, back into the wind. Oh, he's chosen a 5-iron.
He's one of the few players with his draw could maybe get at the slag stick, Dottie, because most guys are going to have to hit a cut into that wind, and that's not going to work, I don't think.
Yeah, you can certainly hold it. This wind is coming just a little bit off the right, and this trying to turn to the left side of the green.
Getting a nice little ricochet off that knob, Dottie.
Tell you what, these
Firmness pays off.
Fans just trying to encourage Mickelson to get some kind of start to get it going. Let's go back over to Jimmy.
All right, Dan, and of course the U.S. Open conducted by the United States Golf Association, and for more than a century the USGA has been the guardian of the game's traditions in America, traditions found in its rules, the 13 championships it conducts annually, and now found once again in its museum.
I can
consider myself exceedingly lucky to have won this championship.
Palmer wins with a sensational score of 280.
Jack Nicklaus has now won his third United States Open.
Haynes Stewart is the 1999 U.S. Open champion.
The USGA Museum is the oldest sports museum in the country. We go back to January of 1936, so we've been in operation for more than 70 years.
We were primarily founded to preserve and to protect the game, and I don't think there's any better, more tangible proof of that than this museum.
For the past 3 years, the USGA has been renovating its museum in Far Hills, New Jersey, nearly doubling its size and expanding the unique and vast collection of golf artifacts and memorabilia. The new layout highlights the great stories and exciting moments in golf. It honors the game's greatest players, including one in particular.
Very early on in the project, we got this sense that this was a unique and a very special opportunity to honor someone who has had an amazing relationship with the USGA. And this was a wonderful way to recognize him, what he's meant for the organization, and what he's meant for the game.
I'm very flattered, and I can say that I am most appreciative. I'm very proud to be here and to have the museum named after me.
Visitors are greeted by the spectacular portrait named Gratitude, made up of 22,000 words that embody Palmer's entire career. Bringing the past to life provides an exciting experience and connects it to the game of today.
A visit to the museum can help you appreciate the game more if you know where the game has come from and where it's going. And I think that's what we're about, is really hoping to take every golfer into a little bit of a fuller and a deeper relationship with the game.
And joined once again by our good friend David B. Fay, Executive Director of the United States Golf Association, by the way, celebrating 30 years with the organization. Congratulations. David, the museum is wonderful, but why Arnold Palmer? I mean, there are so many other players who've won so many more titles, not disputing his greatness, but why Palmer?
He's the king.
That we know.
You know, great athletes, Jimmy, who play with emotion, connect with the fans. And that summarizes Arnold. He plays with emotion and they return the favor. And he was a great player. People sometimes forget that. It's so many years since his prime. Yeah, he won one Open, and he won the Amateur, and he won the Senior Open, and the 4 Masters, and the 2 British Opens. But think about that period in the early 60s when he was in 3 playoffs. And the thing is, he's so genuine. He's going to be 79 years old. Think about any other athlete who still has a presence in the game, an active presence in the game at that age. There's none like him. He's a genuine article.
David, I can't imagine there's anything more to say. Arnold Palmer, indisputably the king, and a great man and a wonderful presence in golf. Thanks for joining us once again. When we return, that man, Ernie Els, twice a U.S. Open champion, will tee off, along with Jeff Ogilvy, also an Open champion himself.
There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, for everything else, there's World MasterCard, the card that won't hold you back.
It began with 4 professional golfers given 4 Lexus courtesy cars. Annika Sorenstam in an ISF. Charles Hall III in a GS Hybrid. Chichi Rodriguez in an LX 570. And Raymond Floyd in an LS 460.
Take the right here.
What followed was hardly surprising.
A new day has dawned in life insurance and annuities. Introducing Aviva. Aviva offers innovative life insurance and annuity products, all designed to help you look forward to a bright future. Ask your financial professional about Aviva today.
The Michelob family of beers won a ton of awards at American beer festivals.
It's really the reward for the brewmaster of a job well done.
Pale Ale, Meritzen, Amberbach in particular has won all kinds of awards.
Look at that. That's just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's really nice to go up to the beer festivals and get recognized for your hard work. We love the awards, but most of all, we love our beer.
There's a family behind the Michelob family of beers. Michelob, crafting a better beer.
I'm playing for my husband, Major Troy Gilbert.
Labor Day weekend, we celebrate Patriot Golf Day.
We're playing for our dad, Captain Chris Cash.
Each round benefits the Folds of Honor Foundation that provides scholarships for the families of soldiers disabled or killed in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Playing for my friends, neighbors, and guys we don't even know.
Visit PatriotGolfDay.com to find a participating course.
And play for them all.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 2:10 starting time from George, South Africa, the 1994 and 1997 United States Open champion, Ernie Els.
And it has been 11 years since that second U.S. Open championship. Ernie, long time a fixture in major championships, but the last 4 years really has not been a factor on the weekend. And at the age of 38, he knows that these opportunities aren't going to come maybe as often.
He's really swinging well with the new swing changes by Harmon. Good stats with fairways hit, good stats with greens hit, and that has not been the case for quite a long time.
No fairway hit here, Johnny.
Oh man, that's right up against that lip.
And from Melbourne, Australia, the 2006 United States Open champion, Jeff Ogilvy.
Won at Winged Foot when the contenders just disintegrated around him. Nevertheless, a U.S. Open champion and kind of a Tiger streak stopper of sorts. Remember, he won at Doral earlier this year when Tiger had that 5-tournament streak in a row going at the PGA Tour. Can he stop Tiger's streak here at Torrey, which is 4 in a row here?
He's only hit 13 fairways, which is the least of anybody that's even sniffing having a chance at winning this championship. So there's a good one there. Maybe he found something on the driving range, but he is in more tall grass than a Toro mower.
4th and 5th ranked players in the world in that group. Els and Ogilvy off and running. Now this earlier, Mickelson for birdie at the par 3 11th. He's going to remain at +5. 16.
And a moment ago, Dan, this was Brant Job's birdie putt here at the long par 3. Should turn ever so slightly to his right, and he reads it perfectly. So Brant Job 3 under par in his round today. 3 over for the championship. And we go up to 18.
This was a moment ago, Rich Beam.
And that had to be a scary shot to get it to there.
Rich qualifying to get into this championship. That's a little bit like that PGA Championship shuffle he did years ago.
He's been practicing at 80 though.
And 80 for the Beamer. He's kind of got that Rocco Mediate type of personality. He's not going to let it
he's
affect
a fun
him
guy.
too much for too long. He took an 11 on the 8th hole today, Beam did, over at the 5th.
And Retief Goosen's putt for a birdie. Nicely done, but he needs something good to happen. Double bogey at 2 and a bogey at 3. Got him to 6 over, but the birdie there gets him back to 5 over. They head to 12.
And this is a 504-yard par 4. It's been moved up a bit today, 476, but it probably is going to play the toughest of the championship as the week goes on, and Mickelson's found more rough.
Now that has gone down, which means probably another scrambling par at best.
And over at 17, the 441-yard par 4, Brant Job with his second shot.
Very quiet lower body swing, huh?
Yeah, a lot of upper body turn through the ball, and maybe a little bit too much got ahead of it. Missed it out to the right.
Sitting up, though.
Yeah. Job playing in his 11th U.S. Open. His best finish, a tie for 33rd back about 3 years ago. As we go to 13.
And Michael Thompson for a birdie. Had it in the back of the green. Rolled it well past the hole for eagle, but he gets his birdie. He will turn pro right after the U.S. Open. start to gobble up some of those dollars.
Well, Tiger Woods getting ready. And again, having knee surgery just a couple of days after the final round of the Masters. And earlier this week, if you didn't see it, this was his tee shot on Thursday at the 18th, and it was clear that it was bothering him. Johnny, you picked up on this right away.
Yeah, you could see right there, that was like, that hurt.
And then yesterday, on his 10th hole of the day, this was the first hole, his feet on the cart path, and so he really had to kind of post up even more on that left knee, and it really hurt him. He's been asked about it. He has been rather brief in his comments concerning it, saying, yep, it's sore.
It's funny that
it's sore.
It's funny those two shots he hit were the two best shots he hit the whole championship, but they were ones that hurt him.
All right, second shot for Ernie. Not a good way to start here, up against the lip of that bunker at the first.
Better watch out, Mr. Lip there. Easy to hit it fat when you have that kind of trying to add loft. But it's in the air a long time.
Well, you can see it. But this Kikuyu grass can do strange things in a hurry to a golf club.
It twists your club. That's the problem with the Kikuyu. It grabs it. The roots go down sometimes 3-4 feet. And some of the roots are as big around as your little finger. So if you go down into the roots win.
And Kikuyu is a summer grass that really goes wild in the summer. So it's not a grass here that is particularly prevalent when the regular PGA Tour stop is held here earlier in the year. Ogilvy's second on the way.
It's there. It's just dormant.
Yeah. And that is a fried one there.
That's bogey time.
Ogilvy and Else getting an early taste of Torrey on Saturday. What's the day going to be like for Stuart Appleby, set to go off here at 3 o'clock local time?
We make meeting times, lunch times, and conference times. But what we'd rather be making are tea times. Tea times are the official start of what we love to do. The time for shots we'd rather forget, and the ones we'll talk about forever. In Michigan, long days and relaxing weather make for the perfect tea time. Because being able to play all day is pure Michigan. Your trip begins at michigan.org.
If retirement is on the horizon, so are many ifs. Like if you should take Social Security at 62 or 67. The Social Security tool at MetLife.com can help you decide. It's one way we help you create your personal safety net, only at MetLife.com.
Going over and over, stopping and starting, waking up to go. Lots of guys experience male urinary symptoms due to BPH, also known as an enlarged prostate. But for many guys, prescription Flomax reduces their urinary symptoms due to BPH in 1 week. Only your doctor can tell if you have BPH, not a more serious condition like prostate cancer. Avoid driving or hazardous tasks for 12 hours after your first dose or increase in dose, as a sudden drop in blood pressure may occur, rarely resulting in fainting. If considering cataract surgery, tell your eye surgeon you've taken Flomax. Common side effects are runny nose, dizziness, and decrease in semen. Ask your doctor if Flomax is right for you. For many men, Flomax can make a difference in 1 week.
The phone company has an important message for its customers. Don't listen to Vonage.
Well, over 2 million people have already joined Vonage.
Oh, really?
With Vonage, you get unlimited local and long-distance calls for just $24.99 a month.
Unlimited for just $24.99?
What do you charge?
Hey, for over 100 years, the only thing we've changed is...
Your prices?
Whoa.
Sign up now with Vonage and get 1 month free using your high-speed internet connection.
Call 1-888-311-1029 or go online today.
A lifetime of sacrifice, all for this moment. Live for this moment. Eat, sleep, and breathe for this moment. What's your destiny?
Everybody expects me to give up, but you never see me giving in. Everybody wants me to lose. No, I'm sorry to say there'll be no sacrifice.
The Olympic Trials, next Saturday on NBC.
Getting a little brighter, but still the sun hasn't burst through the marine layer here in La Jolla, California. Beautiful area of the country, great golfing spirit. The Junior World Championship has been staged here for so many years, and Tiger's won it here. Ernie Els has also won that title, and he's over at the first with his third from the rough.
Very relaxed motion, sort of a chunk and run, and that's up there where he's got a pretty good chance of making it.
And over at the 12th, Mickelson looks like he's got that hybrid out again. Remember, he moved one on this hole just about 10 feet in the first round.
This is a little better line. He's going to just sort of chip cut it and run it onto the front, and that's a very good leave.
Boy, he handled that one a lot better, didn't he?
Yeah, that was just a better line. He's got a good angle. See, that's the key. Is if you're going to miss greens on this hole, if you miss it left, you got nothing, and if you hit it over there, you got a lot of green to work with.
Look at this line for Ogilvy at the first.
Yeah, you watch, he bends his left arm on this and throws it down into the sand. But you just couldn't get that close unless you happen to chunk it into the bank and hop it up and roll it on, which you can't play far. Let's take a look at this again. Watch this, folks. You get square club face, opens it up pretty good there. And what you do when you come down on this, you actually turn the toe down. See how bent he is there? No width to his swing, and then he turns the toe down, which allows the club to dig down and get underneath the ball. You don't want to leave the club open like every other sand shot, so close it down and it pops right out.
17.
And Brant Jobe for a par. Just to remain 3 under for the round. Jobe coming off some time away from the game. Johnny took a month off in April to try to get his head back together, I guess, as we go to one.
Just wasn't making cuts, and he was fried, huh?
Yep, sounds that way.
You and I have been there.
Oh, yes.
Speaking of fried, Ogilvy, after the fried egg lie, is going to take a bogey at the first. Els has an upcoming par putt, and Mickelson with a chance to save his par here at 12.
Beautiful scene with Torrey Pine in the background.
Yeah, this
oh, man. He's hit some unusual chips. Yeah, saw the one at 8, remember? Way short.
He was the magic man yesterday with the wedges in the short game.
That one there, I'm not sure if the scenery got his attention or what, but that was an easy little chip. Tight lie, though.
Hunter Mahan for birdie at the 10th. Played the front 9 and even, and picks up an early birdie. And over at the first, Ernie for his par to stay at even. Everybody expecting so much more from Ernie, especially after he finally picked up that first PGA Tour win in some 4 years earlier at the Honda this year. But he has kind of been in a funk, starting to come around a little bit, but looking for that shot of confidence.
Well, let's take a look at Tiger over at the driving range. What he does, and he's the only one that does it, and I started doing this in the 70s, he hits 9 different kinds of shots. He goes through the standard flight straight ball, standard height fade, standard height hook, and then the low series of low straight, low fade, low hook, and the high series of high, straight, fade, and hook. And you do 9 in a row, and you see out of 9 how many you can get right. And if you can get 8 out of 9 or 9 out of 9, that is the big C word, which stands for confidence.
So you're very cautious about the post-surgery rehab. Did not walk a full 18 until the first round here on Thursday after that final round at the Masters some 2 months ago. So as Tiger continues to warm up for his tee time here in about half hour or so, we are going to go ahead and continue on with the Johnny Miller email question and answer it for you. And I guess we've decided to go with the one that that you kind of liked here. Who do you consider, Johnny? This is pretty tough. The greatest U.S. Open player of all time.
Well, you know, when you think of U.S. Opens, obviously Bobby Jones was there, but you almost have to go to Ben Hogan. I think Ben Hogan played against the great Sam Snead and Byron Nelson and Jimmy Demerit, and he sort of signified what the U.S. Open was all about, and that's the P word, precision. He would hit the most fairways, he didn't hit the most greens, and the way the USGA set up the championships, it rewarded a guy that could really play tee to green and handle pressure and handle adversity. And he went through with this crash with the bus, more adversity maybe than any golfer ever. And with his 4 U.S. Open wins, he probably would have won more if it wasn't for the accident. Because after that accident, he had to get up really early, like 3 hours before his tee times, and soak in a hot bath just so he could play golf, and he was able to win several majors after that horrendous crash. So I think at U.S. Opens, I think of Ben Hogan.
All right, we'd like to thank Patrick Holleran of Eugene, Oregon for that question, and you can tune into the Lexus wrap-up show after this show on NBC Sports, and they're going to have some more answers for Johnny Miller. All right, Mickelson at the 12 for par. This would be some save from that rough, and he's got it. There's a Mickelson roar at Torrey Pines in his hometown here of San Diego. Stays at +5 though, still a full 8 behind 16.
Trevor Immelman on the tee.
What a swing, huh?
Yeah, it is very simple, Johnny, and creates a lot of speed for a small guy. Oh, this is going to be good. This will chase right back toward the hole location. I am seeing some amazing shots here at 16, Johnny. It is.
You know, and he is the only player in the field that has a follow-through like the great Ben Hogan.
Well, he does indeed. Stuart Appleby, Rocco Mediate, the final pair of the day. Robert Carlson in it as well, along with Tiger Woods. We'll be right back.
Summer's #1 singing competition kicks into high gear. Live.
I love that attitude.
Grand Slam. Be there for the live elimination.
Somebody's going home tonight, and it ain't gonna be you.
With a performance by Trace Adkins. Woo! All new Nashville Star. Monday, 9/8 Central on NBC.
Are you ready for a new set of golf clubs? Hi, I'm David Southern for Golf Etc. Folsom. I'm amazed at the new technology Golf Etc. has for custom fitting. Their proprietary fitting software, ProTech, selects the perfect clubs and shafts for your unique swing. The new interchangeable shaft systems allows you to test hundreds of shaft and club combinations. With a perfect fit, I guarantee you'll hit the ball longer and straighter. Call today to schedule your custom fitting. Golf Etc. Folsom, it's like your own professional tour van.
It could be a new way to detect cancer in its earliest stages, a life-saving protocol for managing trauma, or an innovative approach to educating tomorrow's healthcare team. At UC Davis Health System, our next medical breakthrough just may have your name on it. UC Davis Health System, a gift for advancing medicine.
Mercedes-Benz of El Dorado Hills has earned a 5th consecutive Mercedes Best of the Best Award for outstanding customer service and sales. Upgrade your commute with a 2008 C300W for only $399 a month. Mercedes-Benz of El Dorado Hills, the Mercedes of dealerships. Or shop online at mbofedh.com.
Thank you for making KCRA3 Sacramento's #1 news source.
Use NBC Sports Mobile and get your U.S. Open updates right on your cell phone. Just text the word golf to 51515 and get live news and scores right on your phone. Back at the 108th U.S. Open Championship. We resume at the first. And this is the group of Robert Allenby and Luke Donald. This is the third shot for Allenby, who drove it in the rough.
So hard to hit that first fairway. Yeah, it's 25 or 6 yards wide, and you're nervous.
Allenby also from Australia. He's never won a major title.
That's right, mate.
He has 4 PGA Tour wins. And in his 11th U.S. Open.
Has a great angle to come into this hole location and get it close. Spin.
So he's got a chance to save par at the first. Up ahead to 2.
Birdie hole.
Jeff Ogilvy with his second shot. Beautiful drive. Johnny, players are having a hard time, though, with this back left hole location.
Is it
Green
spin
very
back?
firm. No, it's very firm. Oh, that's good. That's one of the few players I've seen be able to carry it to the hole and stop it. Most have gone all the way to the back fringe.
It's probably because it's downwind, right? And that guy, it's coming in a little hotter, but he hits moon balls, so he's one of the few guys, he could stop it anywhere.
It'll be interesting to see what Els is able to do, because all these swing changes he's been making with Harmon, they're working on trying to bring the flight of his ball down a little bit to Actually hit a little bit more of a penetrating ball flight.
This shot, you're just hoping you got a nice, perfect full yardage so you can put more spin on it, right?
Yes, exactly. The hole cut just some 3 or 4 paces over a ridge. Anything short will spin right back toward the front of the green.
His swing looks tighter.
I agree, Johnny. Shorter, firmer, wider. Not as much hand action through the ball.
Used to have that throw at the top of his backswing coming down, widen the arc. That'll spin.
Yes, it will. Beautiful shot from Els. So
he'll get a read too.
Very good chance for birdie for both Ogilvy and Els at the short par 4. Second only par 4 on the golf course under 400 yards. As we go up to 18.
And here comes Brant Jobe at +3.
Dangerous shot. Don't spin it too much, Brant. He sucked it back in the water yesterday, and
he's not going to flirt with it today, is he?
Yeah, that whole occasion's scary. You're almost better off going for it in 2 if you can. So you don't have to worry about the backspin.
That's 16.
And Trevor Immelman for a birdie 2. And nicely done. Now let's join Bob Costas.
All right, Gary, and I am joined by Curtis Strange, 2-time U.S. Open champion in '88 and '89, the last to win it back-to-back, and Peter Jacobsen, who won the Buick here at Torrey Pines, and he is also a past U.S. Open champion, but he won that in the movie Tin Cup. But right. He's still counting it, even though Kevin Costner made off with Rene Russo, and he made off with a small residual check. All right, now, as we look at the leaderboard, there are a dozen guys within what normally would be called striking distance of the lead, especially in the U.S. Open, where players can move up and down the board because conditions are so tough. But with Tiger near the top, does that shrink the number of players who realistically can win?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The intimidation factor is there. I used to speculate a little bit how much he could really intimidate players, but somewhere in the past of all these players, they in some way, shape, or form admitted that Tiger intimidates them. And to me, the intimidating factor is, Peter, is that when you stand on the first tee and play this man right here, you know you have to be at your very, very best. And even if you're at your best, you still might lose.
Well, it reminds me of Jack Nicklaus, because we kind of played in both those eras. Jack Nicklaus, Greg Norman, Tom Watson. It's hard to quantify in strokes how intimidating Tiger is. People used to say, is it 1, 2, 3? It might be 10. And the way Tiger finished his round yesterday, he dashed a lot of people's hopes. When he shot that 30, a lot of guys thought, wow, I have a chance to do this because Tiger is out of it. He shoots 30, and guess what? A lot of guys go, well, I'm playing for second now.
Now, you recently had a knee replacement. You've also had your knee scoped 3 different times, so you can relate to what Tiger has been going through. But then we look at this guy, and we don't mean to be glib about it, but sometimes you think he's just superhuman. And this happened yesterday, and you wonder whether he might have tweaked it a little bit, but the 30 on the back nine, you know, pretty much did away with that idea.
Well, I will say this. I think the function of his knee is fine. And when I had my arthroscopic surgeries, my knee was fine, but it's the fear factor. It's the concern with the swelling, and are you going to be able to go hard? I actually think it's going to help Tiger, because we've seen that Tiger can miss a lot of fairways in any tournament. If he drives the ball in the fairway, he's going to be as good as anybody in the field. So I think this knee concern is going to slow him down a little bit, kind of make him swing a little bit more in rhythm and tempo, and he's going to protect it. And I think he might not hit the ball as far, but I think he's going to hit the ball and play a little bit.
I'll tell you something else that helps that knee, okay? Making all those putts he made on the second 9 yesterday. That makes everything go away.
You know, we were talking about the intimidation factor. Robert Carlson is at -2, a stroke behind Stuart Appleby. Mathematically, he's in the same place as Tiger Woods. You mentioned everybody has a history of one kind or another with Tiger. Well, here is Carlson in the Ryder Cup in '06 at the K Club, and Tiger closes him out 3-2. So that's in his mind somewhere this weekend, right?
Without a doubt. Whenever you go head-to-head against anybody, I don't care if it's an amateur tournament or a Ryder Cup, and you've had past success or past failure, that's in the back of your mind. This is a different format. It's medal play, it's not match play. But when you're playing against a Tiger Woods, you're going to be matching him shot for shot. Mentally, you're going to be watching what he's doing and sometimes forgetting about what everybody else is doing.
Well, the viewers, too, might not know much about Robert Karlsson, but he is an established player, the most successful Swede on the European Tour, 7-time winner, wonderful striker of the ball. He actually can win here. He has to be on his A game, he has to play well and make few mistakes, which they are magnified by U.S. Open setup, but he can win here. He is that good a player.
You know, this is always an issue when we talk about, well, here, let's take a look at this. It's the U.S. Open. However, the last 4 champions, Angel Cabrera from Argentina, Jeff Ogilvy from Australia, Michael Campbell from New Zealand, and Retief Goosen from South Africa, the last 4 consecutive champions have all been international players.
I think it's because they're very versatile. Whenever you play international golf, and Curtis has done it as I've done it, it's different than playing American golf. American golf can be played up in the air. You hit the ball, it goes up in the air, lands in the fairway, you drop it on the green, it stops, and you putt. When you're an international player, you're playing in all kinds of conditions, on all kinds of grass. So you have to learn to scratch it and scrape it and get it in the hole any way you possibly can, and that's what has to happen in the U.S. Open. Curtis won back-to-back U.S. Opens. Nobody can speak to it better than Curtis can, but you basically throw your playbook out the window, especially on the weekend, and you just get the ball in the hole any way you possibly can.
Peter and Curtis, thanks. We'll be back with you as the day moves along. Let's check in on what's happening at number 2 right now.
Where Jeff Ogilvy has this downhill putt for a birdie. Tough putt to read, Johnny. It's very straight. A lot of players missing it right, thinking it'll turn toward the water. But not Ogilvy.
He knows that break.
Yeah, beautiful putt. That gets him back to even par. Up to 18.
And Job now for his par. Remember, his 3rd shot was well beyond the hole. And the bogey at the last. Ouch. And he drops to +4. Still a 2-under round of 69 for Job, who's never won on the PGA Tour, has a number of runner-up finishes.
This whole occasion's taking its toll, folks.
Let's go to 2.
And Ernie Els putting on virtually the same line as Ogilvy, should know the break.
Straight in, huh?
Oh, but he missed it just like so many before have.
That one actually tried to go right a little bit. He might have pushed it up.
I think he did, just slightly.
Over at the 8th from just off the green a moment ago, Rory Sabatini's second. Sabatini began the day at +3, 3 early bogeys, and he's all of a sudden at +6, but a birdie there gets him back to +5. Looking pretty intimidating in those shades. And when we come back, Davis Love III in quest of a first U.S. Open.
Are you? Yeah, in about 15 years. I just want to commend you for sitting and coach. Why? Well, you're saving, but you still need some financial advice. We need a plan to help protect and grow our money throughout our life. Retirement isn't the finish line. Where are you going? Back to first class. We can afford it now.
Get to know your future self with Lincoln Financial Group at lincolnfinancial.com.
It began with 4 professional golfers given 4 courtesy cars to drive to the Open. What followed was hardly surprising, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's meet a driver, Annika Sorenstam. Focused, disciplined, and a tough competitor. It seemed appropriate she chose the 416 horsepower ISF.
It's time to think about what Dad does when he doesn't have to do anything. It's time to remember where Dad goes when he doesn't have to go anywhere. Get him a gift card from the Home Depot. Available in-store or online. It's the ultimate Father's Day card. Good for the tool he's always wanted, or the other tool he's always wanted. The Home Depot, proud sponsor of Father's Day.
I'm 3 weeks into being a guy with diabetes. I feel much more focused about what's important. And what is important? My wife, my family, myself. The meter plays a critical role in my life because it gives me information.
One Touch, a simple way to check your blood sugar.
I have one child, a daughter, 4.5. I'm going to dance at her wedding, and I'm going to go to her 40th birthday party.
Happy Father's Day.
I think I'm gonna use my 1-iron.
You even have a 1-iron?
Just like Ben Hogan did, to make par and force a playoff at the 1950 U.S. Open.
Come on, who hits a 1-iron?
Ben Hogan did. And me.
Yeah, but you're no Ben Hogan.
Not yet.
At the USGA, we cherish golf's history. So come visit our museum to see the best golf memorabilia in the world.
Good shot, kid.
Including Hogan's 1-iron.
I think I'm on.
The USGA, for the good of the game.
Wednesday, the new sensation heats up, and one of the celebrities is going home.
What did I get myself into?
Wednesday is your chance to join the circus. Celebrity Circus, Wednesday on NBC.
Welcome back. We're at the par 3 third now with Ernie Els, 189 yards. Downhill back into the breeze.
The breeze is going what, right to left and northwest?
Yes, it is.
That ball carrying left.
Boy, did you hear that land.
That's a new wind, Murph, from what, 5-6 straight days of southwest to west wind.
Much more into them the first couple of days. You're exactly right. Back to 1.
That makes the next hole tough.
And Allenby trying to save his par at the first.
Not a hard putt, not much break. Just a little to the left.
And that putter will usually tell the story for Allenby. Such a good ball striker as we go back to the tee at 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 2:40 starting time from Sea Island, Georgia. Davis Love III. Play away, please.
Popular player, as you can hear, turned 44 years old in April. Could become the second oldest U.S. Open champion in history. Sectional qualifier.
Notice how still he used to dip his head down at impact, and now he's keeping him much more level on all his shots. He's swinging well.
That is up the right-hand side, drawing back toward the center.
And he's hitting it LONG. That makes this hole
And
a
from
lot
Mount
easier.
Pleasant, South Carolina, DJ Trahan.
Two sons of noted teaching pros. DJ Trahan's father, Don, a noted teaching pro. In fact, DJ caddied for his father in the 2001 Senior Open. Born in Atlanta, now lives in South Carolina. Decorated amateur from Clemson.
Doing mostly this week with the putter. He's putting
That's
very well.
Low left, Johnny.
Yeah, that's a nervous shot right there. And that ball's sitting down, no way to get to the green. And he's going to have to lay it up to his favorite yardage and somehow try to make a tough par.
Yeah, this is the first cut he has ever made in a major for DJ Trahan. This just his 5th major championship overall and just his 2nd U.S. Open. Let's go to 13.
Well, just a moment ago, we have to show you this to appreciate the difficulty. The whole location right on the front of the green. It's uphill about 39 feet. Phil Mickelson's 3rd.
Uh-oh. That's a big uh-oh.
Down the hill.
This is like Six Flags right here.
Down the hill. That was his 3rd.
Look at
Johnny.
this ball, folks. And now it's a tougher shot than he just started with.
Now this is his 4th.
This is a tougher shot than the last one.
Really clipped it. Watch out. Back, down.
And is there anyone
Michael on his own divot? Watch
his
this.
feet.
More familiar with this golf course, Murph
Here's his
and
divot
Johnny,
right here.
than Mickelson?
See his divot just a foot to the right of that, and it's actually farther than he started with.
He makes a habit of playing this course once, twice a week, especially in preparation for this U.S. Open. So he knows what this is all about, Murph.
Playing 5.
Was that heavy?
That sounded heavy.
Oh, my goodness.
It is. And this was a moment ago.
This is
a lot of moments ago. It takes a long time to do all this.
You know, it's the amazing thing is he's hit the ball 3 times and he's farther than he started.
Can you imagine how he feels, the local favorite here, just throwing it away here at 13, Murph?
Yeah, and just utter dejection. This is number 6. It's finally on the green.
Last time we had something similar was that 10th hole at Shinnecock. Remember that, Bob?
Yes, I do.
But it wouldn't come back this far.
This is for 7.
Well, you don't see many snowmen at the beach, but
Johnny,
he's going to be hoping for a snowman. This is amazing.
This is 9-10 feet past the hole.
Well,
now you're just not thinking, are you, Johnny? You're just in another
hands
zone.
Get you know, sort of sweaty.
This is 8, makes a quad 9 on the par 5.
Murph, yesterday was Friday the 13th. Saturday at 13 is a nightmare for Mickelson.
Wow.
Yeah, you hate to see it. You hate to see anybody do it.
His gallery's been so loyal and so strong in his support. Well, back to Ernie Els on that
on
third
par
hole.
3, yeah. For birdie, really fast coming down the hill. Should pull left. Should pull left. Almost. That's what you must do in U.S. Opens as opposed to what Phil just did. You must leave yourself a little tap in. Takes a lot of pressure off you.
It sure does. The value of the tap in can't be, you know, overestimated.
Well, Davis Love III, unlike DJ Trahan, perfect in the middle of the fairway, Dottie.
He is 165 yards back into the wind, uphill to the hole. DJ Trahan has just pitched out. He'll have a lengthy third.
I mean, I'm like 7.
What a drive right between the bunkers, which is very tough to put it there without missing the fairway. Well, he used to play, his bread and butter was this little cut shot, Dottie, into that hook wind into him.
It certainly was, and exactly the same shot he had in Thursday's opening round. He hit this 7-iron and came up short and buried in the right front bunker. Same exact shot.
The older you get, the less you cut it usually. The rarest shot on the Champions Tour is a cutter. See if he's holding
sounded
it.
very solid, but it's left.
Wow. Well, it's putting.
And Tiger making his way over. Just 2 groups left to go off. Tiger and Carlson in about 3 minutes or so, and then Appleby and Mediate to follow at the top of the hour. In search of major championship number 14. But his first U.S. Open title since 2002. Over at the 10th, Furyk, the 2003 champion from Olympia Fields. Getting his day going a bit after starting with 3 bogeys in the first 4 holes. Furyk back to +5 and back to the first after chopping out from the rough. His third here, Dottie, for DJ Trahan.
And it's a third of 144 yards.
Tough to get at this whole location. The fact that it is into the wind and to the left in a right hole location, easy to hit it to the middle of the green. It takes a lot of guts to throw it out there, Dottie, over that bunker.
Seen a lot of bogeys at the first, the third toughest hole today so far. When we come back, we'll see Tiger Woods take aim again at Torrey Pines in the second to last group in the 108th U.S. Open Championship.
Why don't you build me up, buttercup baby, just to let me down, mess me around, and you more than anyone, darling, you know that I have from the start, so build me up, buttercup.
Singing can reduce stress and add 15 years to your life. So live longer, retire stronger, never outlive your money. Ask your financial advisor about AIG.
One moment we were feeling spontaneous.
Surprise, I'm home.
The next, we are happily interrupted. Hey, there's no problem for guys like me with ED. There's Cialis. Cialis is the only erectile dysfunction tablet clinically proven to both go to work fast in as little as 30 minutes for some men and work up to 36 hours. No other ED tablet can do both. Sure, Cialis can work fast, but having up to 36 hours is a great option, and working only when it should means I can respond to Deb only when we're ready. Tell your doctor about your medical condition and all medications, and ask if you're healthy enough for sexual activity. Don't take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Don't drink alcohol in excess with Cialis. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help if you experience an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease in hearing or vision, stop taking Cialis and call your doctor right away. Why ask your doctor about Cialis? Because when the moment is right, you can be ready.
Business suit. None. Office cubicle. None. Corporate ladders to climb. None. A small business to call your own. Priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For being your own boss, there's credit or debit MasterCard business card.
Americans have won the gold medal.
I will never forget being on the podium.
All 3 flags, the national anthem.
So overcome with emotion, I completely forgot the words.
You want to cry, but at the same time, you're excited.
Carrie Walsh, beach volleyball.
Jeremy Warner, track and field.
Natalie Coughlin, swimming.
It's an honor to wear the USA uniform.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 250 starting time from Windermere, Florida, the 2000 and 2002 United States Open champion, Tiger Woods.
And in those 2 U.S. Open titles, he went wire to wire at Pebble and Bethpage Black. He's only been in better position in this championship twice before. Those were those wire to wire wins.
Look at this focus. Spot lining. There's the spot. Coming off a 30 yesterday on the back 9.
Left to left to left.
Wow.
3rd straight days missed this fairway.
Well, that is, he was hoping he'd get out where the gallery's been walking, but that's some of the longest rough out there, and even with his strength, they can't get there from there, I don't think.
And from Katrineholm, Sweden, Robert Karlsson.
38-year-old Karlsson. No one from Sweden has ever won a men's major championship. You've got Annika and all that she's done on the women's side of things, but he's got 7 wins on the European Tour. That's the most ever by a Swede. So Karlsson can play, but can he rise to the big moment here with Tiger?
He's here because of the fact that he's 10th in greens in regulation, and that is a big stat. So he needs a good drive. He's hitting his irons well. Beautiful swing. About a chase, very similar to Davis Love's old swing.
It's a low one going a little bit up the left side here.
Oh, okay.
Not as half buried, not as far left of as Tiger went. What happened, Johnny, on this opening swing?
Well, let's take a look at it. He's in good shape here. Looks good, looks good, looks good. Let's see if he hangs back on this thing. Still looks perfect. Right on the money, right there on the money. Still looking good. And now he releases early. Do you see that left hand? Instead of, Billy Casper told me he was one in California more than anybody. You keep those left knuckles going towards the target for about 6 inches before you turn them down. And he turned it down right at impact.
Well, this California native in trouble. Tiger up ahead. You've got Davis Love III here for his par.
A little bit of a fooler. The back side of this green ever so slightly goes to the left. Oh.
Yes. Solid start for Davis. And prior to Davis's par attempt, we had DJ Trahan way back here for his par. Wow. And that will settle him down.
That is one ugly par.
Nevertheless,
I love ugly pars.
It's a 4 over to 2.
Just a moment ago, Dan. This was Miguel Angel Jimenez with his second shot. I mentioned his 66 yesterday. Well, he's continuing to be hot.
Talk about under the radar, Gary, this guy, huh? He just goes and plods along.
Yes, he does, but he's won 15 times on the European Tour as we go to 10.
And Merrick's second. He's been a bit of a surprise here in the early going in this third round.
Great
2
tempo.
under on his round, Johnny.
Great tempo. That's a nice shot. Beautiful tempo. That when you swing slower, you don't put quite so much backspin on the ball.
Now his birdie attempt for Merrick, 26 years old, who's never won on the PGA Tour.
Not an easy read, but not much break. Yeah.
And how about Merrick's start? 3 under, back to even.
You don't see guys pick it out of the hole with your foot 2 inches from the cup. That's unusual.
We're back to 2.
And Jimenez for the birdie. And this a very straight putt here, Johnny. Pretty much just right up the hill.
Yeah, he won last week, huh? Big tournament in Europe.
Yes, he did. BMW PGA Championship.
2 weeks
All
ago.
right, nicely done. And Dan, I can't help but think this guy kind of fits in here in Southern California, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think so. That ponytail, Gary, looks like it's made out of kikuyu.
Well, he's got that laid-back personality.
I wouldn't want to take a swing through that. Grab your club and turn it.
All right, back on the tee. Davis Love with a long iron.
Trying to take the bunkers out of play. Left bunker at 270, neighborhood of 270 yards.
Fairway does slope a little from left to right, and that will just find the intermediate cut of rough, which shouldn't be an issue. As we go back to the first.
Yeah, this will warm up his knee, Roger.
Yeah, he's got 208 left, John, into this wind, and I've seen worse lies in the rough, but it would take a lot to get this ball to the green, I would think.
Well, it helps when you can bench press what he bench presses, 350, 400 pounds. So, I mean, the bottom line is that could help, but he also could hit this really crooked. And that's one of the reasons why the USGA kept it the length they did, so to tempt you into trying to hit the miraculous shot and maybe make a big number. Gonna play a draw. It's not going to drop this bit.
Hung out right. It's not turning enough. We'll miss right.
Not many guys can keep it in the air that long out of that lie, but he's short-sighted himself. No green to work with. It is on a little upslope, but the odds of making par there is probably 1 out of 2 at best.
Well, here's the graduated rough, 1.5.
Yeah, which is little
in the
sit up.
intermediate, and then that's 6 feet in width on the average, and then. For the third year in an open, there are 2 cuts of primary rough. You've got the first cut of that, which is 2.5. And
which
then
seems easy.
And then you drift off there, Johnny. You've got 3.5 or so inches of the thick stuff to deal with.
Uh-huh.
And then if you go outside of that, they don't cut it pretty much. It just is growing at 5+.
That's where Tiger was. He was in the 5 stuff.
Kikuyu, perennial ryegrass, Poanoa, all through there. Now Carlson, Roger.
He has 187 left to the hole.
Good angle.
Yeah, he's got a good angle, and the lie, you know, it's sitting down a little bit, but certainly something that he can manage. It's going to come out with no spin, which is probably an advantage into this breeze. Try to get it up into the left center of the green, I think would be a good shot.
Let's play a little punch in there, get it on the ground, running.
Yeah, it's got this going at the very left side. No, it's going to catch the green side bunker left.
That's going to be a long bunker shot into the wind.
Up ahead to 3.
And a good view down from the view that Miguel has. He said yesterday, I'm 44 years old. I've been playing the tour for 26 years. I'm going to really try to take advantage of this.
Very workmanlike swing. Not pretty, but functional.
When he hits it, Johnny, it sounds very crisp. That a 6-iron.
Everything's quiet when he swings, but he underclubbed, huh, Murph?
Just a bit.
But it did come out of the explosion mark.
Importantly,
take a look at this, Murph. It drops, huh?
Yeah, it does. 32 feet we see right there. So most of the time for us, that's at least a club off what you normally would hit, but then you have to deal with that wind coming off the ocean. Lee Westwood now. Lee Westwood seems so much more relaxed, Johnny, than he has in the past. He seems to be very much on key and on line with what he's trying to do, and as a result, he's sure playing better.
I tell you what, you look at the leaderboard, top 20, 25 players, and you know why, after looking at this, why the Ryder Cup has gone the European way, because the Europeans, there's a bunch of them on the leaderboard in the top 25. It's going to be a great Ryder Cup coming up.
You bet. Lee has chosen 7-iron, so he's got to get all of this.
So an unusual position after impact with a sort of a chicken wing left arm. Last guy to do that was Andy Bean.
That's a good one. You can hear how firm the greens are when the ball landed. Excellent position. Back to 1.
Tiger trying to turn around some tough starts. Started with a double bogey on the opening round and a bogey yesterday in his first hole.
You better not fluff this. I could see him hitting it too far, worrying about that. And there it is. That was a very difficult shot. And if you dump it in the bunker, it'll bury, and then you're looking at 6.
Back to the tee.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 3 o'clock starting time. From Naples, Florida, Rocco Mediate. Play away, please.
He could become the oldest champion ever at 45 years old. Next to the last group he played in at Southern Hills back in 2001. That's really been his best chance to win this championship. He was also a factor in 05 at Pinehurst.
Well, it's the friendliest player since Peter Jacobson. Plays a hook every time.
That's a good one here down the right-hand side, drawing back toward the center.
Doesn't hit it very far, just in the mid 265.
And from Australia,
range.
Stuart Appleby.
8 PGA Tour wins for Australia's Stuart Appleby. Was in a British Open playoff a few years ago. Just a couple of years ago as the 54-hole leader at the Masters, but wasn't able to get it done, and takes his first 36-hole major championship lead here in this Open.
He's been doing it with smoke and mirrors so far. He's already missed 17 greens out of 36 tries, and he's leading the Open. So he's got to change that. He just can't get away with that forever.
Another good one here, low fade down the right side.
He's a long hitter. I don't know if he got all that, but it'll get the job done. That's a good shot.
Both Rocco and Appleby in the middle of the fairway at the first. As the golf course moves out to the ocean right away, and up ahead from the back of the green for par, Tiger.
Ooh, did he hit it solid or chunk it? That was a chunky chip.
Last thing he wanted to do is leave himself a long bogey.
Coming off that 30, just sort of a downer here at number 1.
This 108th U.S. Open Championship is being brought to you by MetLife. Guarantees for the if in life. By Vonage. For a better way to phone, call 877-4VONAGE. By Pure Michigan. Your trip begins at michigan.org. And by Prescription Flomax.
Boy, I just love this marine layer and that look. It looks a little Scottish, a little Pebble Beachish, Olympic Club-ish.
It's also not bad when the sun comes out either.
Yeah, it is, but this is great weather. I tell you, you could hit 500 balls and not sweat a drop. That's 65 degrees, 13-mile-an-hour wind.
Carlson for his par.
Wow, this hole is taking its toll on this group.
Giving a lot of groups a wake-up call.
It's a tough wind direction.
This is Merrick over at the 11th. This is his third shot. Second shot, excuse me, and that lie doesn't seem very good at all. And he just skulls it.
Ouch. That was a real clanker there. You don't see that too often.
So Merrick has some problems at the third and back over to the first. How many feet left for bogey here, Roger?
Well, this has got to be about 8-9 feet. And he started on this first hole, started his championship here Thursday, started with a double bogey. And facing this putt to avoid beginning with another.
What a change from the 30 yesterday on the back nine. Tiger was 7 back after 27 holes before shooting that 30 and get within 1.
His putt back uphill slightly, I would think, would move a little bit to his right.
Don't you think it's a little vague looking, this putt? Tough read. Ocean's left. And that ocean kept it from going right. You know, your eyes say it's got to break towards the tee, and the oceans and the drainage likes to go towards the water.
Double bogey for Tiger, up to 2.
And the lengthy birdie putt from the back fringe for Davis Love. Very quick down the hill. That's pretty well judged. And we'll go to 11.
And Merrick for a bogey. Saw where his second shot was, so a bogey 4 for Merrick, his first bogey of the day, and over to the second.
And DJ Trahan for a birdie. Hit it. No.
He's been putting great, Gary, but
yes, he has. And it's interesting too, Johnny, because he was talking about he's an East Coast guy, and I'm not used to putting on grass like this. And said he has only played the Buick Invitational here in February once, and says this is probably the last time I'll ever play this golf course.
He might play it again if he ends up with a trophy here.
Well, that very well could be.
He doesn't smile real easily, I know that.
Well, the MetLife Blimp Snoopy 3 is providing today's aerial coverage. Visit MetLife.com to learn more about the Blimp program. MetLife guarantees for the if in life.
A lot of ifs here at the U.S. Open.
Not the
no
truth.
kidding. At the first hole, too.
If I could have just done that.
Well, we've got 2 guys in the fairway here in the final group. Rocco to play first.
You talk about a hole location and a wind from the right that does not suit his hook.
190-yard shot.
If he can get this in the middle of the grade, he has been aggressive.
A little bit left, fly. Here, left, fly. Go, go.
That is a gutsy line with a hook. That's what happens when you play draw spin. But that's a very good shot, Rocco.
I'll tell you, Johnny, Rocco has got as much support out here right now, I think, as anybody after Tiger and Phil.
He's very popular. To 3.
Jimenez now just earlier. Little bit of a downslope, does not execute the ball up in the air. Very difficult shot. Now, not a gimme chip here. The ball sitting down. There's a lot of grass behind that ball.
A lot of break left to right, too, isn't there?
He gets it out there pretty well, and there it goes off to the right. And he went on to make a bogey. We go back to 1.
And Stuart Appleby.
Good lie here in the fairway, just 175 yards for Appleby.
Let's see if he can hit more greens today, Mark. Let's watch that. Like I said, he's already missed 17 greens in 36 holes.
He has putted masterfully, though, Johnny. And if he does start hitting the greens, look out.
Yeah.
By the way, Lee Westwood made his par over at the third to stay at 1 under. 2 behind the leader here.
He's taking dead aim at it. If he can hold it up into the wind, he might have a chance. But it looked like he started at left and hooking.
Yeah, it is hooking. Might catch a corner.
That was one ugly iron shot from the middle of the fairway, I'll tell you. There's nothing good about that.
Thank you.
Up ahead at the second.
And Tiger Woods on this short par 4 going with less than a driver. And a cut shot, ideally the shape you would like. Just under 280 yards to the bunker down the left-hand side.
He looks like he's going the other way, Gary, and ride the wind.
I would believe that was his 5-wood, and he is shaping this shot right to left, and it's going down the left-hand side. Dangerous line.
Well, it's going to be okay, Raj. It is in the intermediate cut and appears to be setting up. Well, Tiger Woods not off to the start that he was looking for. A second double bogey at the opening hole Can he hang in there? Well, we'll be back with more third-round coverage of the U.S. Open in just a moment.
It began with 4 professional golfers given 4 Lexus courtesy cars. What followed was hardly surprising. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. The meeting was at 10:30 on the dot. The drivers listened attentively. Then, with a simple exchange,
see you at the Open.
It began.
Let's go, let's go.
You see, the competitive spirit is never idle. And when each was given the chance to drive a Lexus to the Open, competitive golfers became competitive drivers.
What have you been doing?
Playing baseball.
Ah. Where's the ferry? It's no boat. No boat? È un debacco, è un disastro. We could swim across. Swimming? There it is. Well, what's going on here?
Hi.
Engine trouble?
It's broken.
Well, maybe I've got an idea.
For auto, home, and business. Travelers.
Okay. I get a stroke on this hole, too.
Another stroke. Really?
It's my handicap. Gives me a better chance against you.
Well, I think you'd have a better chance hitting up the ladies' tee.
Ouch.
At the USGA, we created the handicap index system because it allows everyone, regardless of skill, to compete against anyone. The USGA, for the good of the game.
What do you think about that?
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
The leader, Appleby, out of the bunker at the first. This while we were in commercial. So a chance to stay on top by himself, but this is a birdie attempt for Rocco Mediate, Mark.
Should have a little right-hand break up at the hole.
And never had enough steam. See all those pins on Rocco's hat. He collects U.S. Open pins at various sites through the years. That's how much he's in love with his championship. And over at the second.
And Tiger Woods getting ready for his second.
Has drawn a very good line here.
His ball's exited the line.
Has 113 to the hole with the wind coming from the right. Only about 4 or 5 paces at green on this angle to the flagstick over that bunker, so not a lot of room here.
He's had trouble on 10 and this hole. The 2 easy par 4s is spinning it to the front of the green, hasn't he, guys?
Yes, he did yesterday. Spun the ball way back and then, of course, made the putt from about 25 feet.
Remember on this hole, the first round, he spun it back to the front, didn't he?
Yes.
Maybe this slide will take off some of that spin, Raj.
Oh, careful, careful.
Nice shot.
Okay, good now.
Good leave. Look at him, look at him.
He knew another foot or so, and that ball would have moved 30 feet farther away from the hole.
Might run down and mark it.
I don't see him running anywhere, Johnny, on that knee. Not yet.
Well, Steve Williams can run well. I know that.
Appleby trying to run this in for an opening 4.
Be a great save. The weekend, for 90-something% of the players, the hole, it gets about, maybe 3 inches wide.
And maybe 2 inches wide tomorrow.
It changes on the weekend as you start thinking, I might win the Open.
Over at the third.
And Davis Love now, Dottie, with an excellent opportunity, and that's what you have to do in these opens. When you hit a shot as well as he hit that one, caught the shoulder and rolled right down towards the hole, you got to take advantage.
Absolutely. It was a beautiful 7-iron he played from the tee that really stayed with the wind well. He's fixed a ball mark, Murph, that makes me think this ball's got to go left.
Yeah, and most guys are playing too much left, as a matter of fact.
The ball mark you fixed would put this ball just outside the hole.
That should be good. We'll share the lead if it gets there. That one went across the hole.
Good putt.
Good putt, darn right.
And you see Davis Love there in his red, white, and blue wardrobe. Today is Flag Day, Saturday, June 14th, and couldn't help but see out there in the
got that
Pacific Ocean. They got the flag on a boat out there, and so many reminders of.
Nice.
There it is out there. That's a good looking shot, isn't it?
That is a big flag.
Over to the fifth.
And Jeff Ogilvy, lengthy putt for a par, drove it well left behind a tree. So at best, Jeff Ogilvy will bogey the fifth.
It's all about precision, isn't it, Gary?
Yeah, it really is. You got to keep the ball in play, especially off the tee, as we go to the second. And Rocco Mediate.
Fairway metal off the tee, Gary. Started down the right-hand side. Another really good-looking swing by Rocco.
You know, he doesn't have the greatest looking swing, but he can flat consistently strike it.
Well, he hits the ball very solidly when he's on, Johnny, no question. Here's a good look at the hole. About 280 yards to the bunker. You can see the fairway kind of peels from left to right. And watch these balls as we land them on the green here, and they will all try to funnel toward the front.
Front right?
Yeah, and they will also go to the middle right or back right corner there as it runs away. And that's what Tiger was worried about, the ball spinning back down to the front of the green. As we go back to the tee, and Appleby next.
Very simple swing, very strong fellow. Great shape.
This one's peeling a little bit to the right.
And that will find the primary cut of rough, so you have to be fortunate.
Could be a little bit of nerves showing, Gary.
Well, you can play along at home, and you could win a trip to next year's U.S. Open. Compete in the U.S. Open Live Challenge at NBCSports.com. Next year's U.S. Open Championship headed to another daily fee golf course as we go back to Bethpage Black. Back to the second.
And Tiger eyeing this putt for a birdie. And Roger, you couldn't ask for a much better place to be putting from.
Oh, you're not kidding. A little bit uphill. I would say, if anything, it might drift a bit to the right, but there's not much break in this putt that I can see. You just have the sense that this one's in, don't you, after that start?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you certainly do.
Kind of what he does. Just comes right back.
Well, and he just putted the ball so beautifully on that second 9 holes yesterday. And we take a look at his par 4 scoring on the South Course during the Buick Invitational. He's 22 under par this week, plus 4. But of course, the conditions just a little bit different this week.
Plus, he's had 3 double bogeys. That'll hurt you.
Yeah, very surprising to see him make that many mistakes, Johnny. You wonder if that's not maybe caused slightly from the 2-month layoff, being away from competition.
This is pretty much better than 50% chance he's going to make this for Tiger, I would think.
Not firm enough. Not firm enough.
Well, it would have gone in, but it's a little left. And for him, that's unusual to miss, huh, Gary?
Yes, I would agree, Johnny. That was pretty much the ideal putt. Maybe you could have had it a little bit shorter, but can't get much easier on this second green than that. So disappointing par for Woods.
You can see his gait. He's favoring that left knee a little bit.
Ahead to 4.
All right, 448-yard par 4. Brought up some 40 yards today as Davis Love gets ready. Dottie?
I'm playing with an iron. With that tee moved up, it's 238 into the right-hand bunker.
Still into the wind, though, right?
It certainly is, yes. And that starts at that bunker.
This fairway moved closer to the edge of that canyon in the redo by Reese Jones, and Davis safely over to the right, well right.
It was a smart play with the long iron, and nobody hits the long irons any better than Davis, especially when he was younger. I would put him right up there with Nicholas, Weiskopf, and Tiger, and that's a pretty good group. Norman, maybe.
Back to 2.
And Rocco Mediate will be first to play his second.
Pretty good chance here, Gary. The wind is coming from the right off the ocean, so it'll push the ball back toward that hole location. You don't really have to aim it back there now.
Look at how upright these clubs are, Mark. How about that, Gary?
Yeah, holds the hands very high. And that's a good shot. That'll catch a little bit of the ridge and funnel a little left. Nicely done. Rocco, another guy who had to qualify to get in here, actually was in a playoff. The sectional qualifying, 11 players for 7 spots. He birdied the very first hole. As we go to 3.
Into the eyes of Robert Carlson, taking a good study. This would appear to be the easiest hole location on this green, but we've only had 3 birdies all day.
Because you got the back tee on Murph.
It's a 7-iron for Carlson. Turning just left of the hole.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Now that was so close. That landed just on the downslope behind the bunker, and it's gone in the hazard.
That was a terrible bounce, wasn't it?
That was a terrible bounce.
Over at the second, Applebee's approach from 133 yards. Man, did he make a rip at that. Trying to land it in the gap. Look at this shot, Johnny. Wow.
That's the best shot we've seen all day, I think.
That was fabulous.
Because that ball was sitting right down.
Yes, it was. He went at that extremely hard as we go up to 3.
Tiger now having a good look as well.
He too has the 7-iron out, Murph.
That couldn't have been a good image for him to see that ball go over the hill and down the bushes.
He certainly knows he needs to carry it farther than that one.
This hit much, much higher than the last one. Drawing right to left, just a little left of the hole as well, and that catches the front bunker.
Came out of the pitch mark, importantly.
Tough start, guys.
Also on the upslope.
Tough start.
Let's take a look at the flight of the ball on our Pro Tracer. Hitting right at the blimp there. Up. They draw. The wind is right to left, pushing the ball to the left, but it's also pushing it down. And bunker is Tiger's play now.
Well, traditionally, Murph, this championship has been one of the toughest for Tiger to contend with. As you look at the toughest tournaments as a professional through the years, the U.S. Open right up there on the top of the list is the highest scoring average per event for Tiger. In fact, he has shot 15 of 50 rounds under par, all in the 60s through the years. So everybody has to tackle these U.S. Open courses, even Tiger. That's not always easy.
All right, back at the second, Dan. Appleby has a very makeable putt for a birdie.
Gary, he hit a brilliant shot out of the right-hand rough. Did not have a good lie to get it this close to a back left hole location. Now has a good chance.
This would be a big confidence builder, guys, if he were to get this up and in after making bogey at 1. What's this do? Just outside right?
Yeah, should turn ever so slightly to the left.
Yeah, it didn't do anything.
No,
it actually went
didn't
right
do
past
much.
the hole. That's really hard to read that. When you have the green sloping from back to front and it goes right, you gotta be a genius to read that or do your homework, one or the other.
It's going to help Rocco, that's for sure, because he's on a pretty similar line.
So Appleby remains at 2 under, and Mediate will have an opportunity to take the outright lead at 3 under.
Gary, talking to him on the first tee, it was interesting. He was talking about just how good he feels right now, and I thought he was talking about his back. He was talking about being in the last group on Saturday at the U.S. Open.
Holly waits. We'll go quickly to the fourth.
And Love ready for his second, Dottie.
Second of 212 yards. 204 covers directly on line with that flag stick, and it's lost it, ballooning on him a bit.
Yeah, he said it went straight up in the air, Dottie. And that's a tough chip.
Back to 2.
And Mediate for the birdie to take the outright lead at 3 under. Good looking putt. Yes, Rocco Mediate. A 45-year-old finds himself atop the leader. Just a little shrug. No big deal. You got to love his attitude about this event, though. He said it is his favorite tournament to play in. As we go to 3.
And there you see the DZ. That's the drop zone put there because it was not possible for Robert to drop the ball and not be closer to the hole, so he must go to the drop zone there, Roger.
And has left himself a pitch uphill to a green, which will then run away from him and break from right to left.
You sure that doesn't stand for demilitarized zone?
Well, it should stand for bad luck on that bounce. My, what a kick. Well played. It'll be a little speedy, however. He said this in the paper today. I'm quite relaxed, actually. Look at this. This is one of the holes that they were given permission to push the green back up against the canyon, and they did that. And boy, little mistake over is gone. Tiger now.
Easy shot, Tiger. I mean, Roger. Or...
Yeah, the green runs away from him and it'll move to the right, but it's on a bit of an upslope, which helps.
Well, that's going to be a tricky little side sloper, though.
Yes, it is. He got a lot of sand between the ball and the blade there.
There's that grimace coming out of the bunker.
Well, over at the 5th, you may have heard a little roar just a moment ago, and this is why. Robert Allenby for a birdie. And that gets him back to 1 over par. 5th hole playing easy today, under par. That's the 19th birdie of the day recorded there. As we go back to 3.
And Robert Carlson having a walk around. And Roger, this is an uncomfortable start for both these players. I guess the guys who were worried about Tiger going out and ripping them up right away, they can rest easy. We got a graphic here of Carlson's last 5 events. T8 Masters, Italian Open 3, Irish Open 3, BMW Championship T3 as well, and the Wales Open 2nd. So that's why he's comfortable, Roger.
You know, the only piece of kryptonite out there for the players to latch onto is the fact that Tiger, when he's behind going into a major, he just doesn't win. So that's the only thing they can say. If we can just keep him out of the lead.
All 13 of his major championship wins with at least a share of the lead. Yeah. 54 holes.
That is just unlucky, huh, Murph?
Yeah, that really was.
I mean, he actually hit a shot that could have been a birdie, right? I mean, it was almost a perfect tee shot.
Watch this ball as it goes along here and takes a couple of little hops right there. It almost looked like an old hole, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
So this is what U.S. Opens are about. Boy, you have to swallow the good hops with the bad ones.
Yeah, and the ratio is about 3 bad to 1 good.
Amen.
Over at the 4th, Davis Love's 3rd.
That's a tough shot there. He hit it just about as good as you can hit it. He has a little push, but Very nicely done, Davis.
He's got a chance to save another par, remain at 1 under, and as Tiger prowls around this par attempt, and look at Tiger as he came out of that bunker. You can tell he's needing some extra help. He's got both clubs almost like a pair of canes as he comes out of that steep bunker.
Yeah. You have a look here, Roger Mulvey?
Well, it's a little downhill side sloper here. I think it, if anything, it might turn the shade right, but if you hit it firmly and have the courage to hit it firmly, I don't think it does a lot.
Well hold. Goes in with nice speed.
And even walking a little gingerly off of this green, Murph. No doubt about it.
He is.
And a second for Hunter Mahan just earlier at the par 4 15th from 192. Impressive young player, Johnny. He's 2 under on his round today with 3 birdies and a bogey.
Yeah, he's got a chance for a good finish. He'll be right in there if he can maybe make this birdie and maybe one on 18 and back to level par, and he'll be right there.
Right to 3.
And right to Rocco Mediate.
Big old swinger.
Doesn't waste any time, Rocco.
Just moving a little bit left.
Left and a little long, but that's pretty safe there.
Not too bad.
We'll watch Pro Tracer on this one.
That probably hooked, what, 40 feet.
We'll show you Rocco's style. Way out to the right. That's to the right of the green, and
wow.
Look at that turn. But he trusted, Johnny. See, that's the secret. He trusts that. He puts it out there, and in fact draws it.
And there was a guy named Bobby Locke from South Africa came over in the U.S. and he hit about a 40-yard hook every time, and he just waxed the Americans for a while. Of course, he made every putt he looked at. That helped.
Hooked every putt, as a matter of fact. Not only did he hook his shots. Interesting concept. Not used today, that's for sure. Appleby now.
This one is headed just left of the flag. Green is getting hard, Murph.
Yes, it is.
It's getting hard, Murph.
Yes, it is. That might collect back a little bit.
What?
Yeah,
that's a heck of a
back.
shot.
Well played, taking advantage of the back slope.
Shows how bad a break Carlson got.
Up to 4.
Love scrambling to stay at 1 under.
Yeah, those are good putts he's hitting, but they're just going over the edges.
Behind him on the tee is Tiger, Roger.
Well, the tee has been moved forward here today, so 35 yards or so.
This is in response to that hole location, right, Roger?
I would think so. Going with lesson driver here. Starts right, going right, not turning back at all.
Oh, that ball went down under. That's in that long Kikuyu. The only good news, you got sideboards right of the green, and you got a good angle from there, and you got a guy that's the strongest guy in the field.
Over at 15, Mahan looking to get it to +1. Third U.S. Open for 26-year-old Hunter Mahan with 1 PGA Tour victory. And at 13.
And John Merrick for Eagle.
2 nice shots, Murph.
Yes, indeed. We'll see quite a few of those I've seen today, but that's the same miss I've seen today.
Nice lag. Wasn't a pretty putt.
Yeah, you bet. He tapped that in.
Just +1. He's right in it.
And over at the 5th, Miguel Angel Jimenez with a putt for birdie. Chance to get a stroke back. He's bogeyed both number 3 and 4 to back to even par. Quick one here, Johnny. This is off that little shelf in the middle left portion of the green, right down the slope.
On a real trivia question, who was the guy that finished 15 shots behind Tiger at Pebble Beach?
Yes, he did.
I mean, the greatest performance in history of golf, and he was a distant second.
Ernie Els.
+3.
Ernie Els was also in that group. All right, this was just earlier. Kevin Streelman. He was a part of the first round lead, a part of the most unlikely co-leaders in U.S. Open history with Justin Hicks. Streelman shot 77 yesterday to begin this day at +3 and was off to a tough start earlier with 5 bogeys in the first 7 holes out in 40. But a nice birdie there at the 10th for Streelman, competing in his very first U.S. Open championship. In fact, his very first major. The former Duke player. And back to the 3rd.
And Rocco Mediate having a look, and I really appreciate what Rocco says, Johnny, about the competition, about relaxing and having a good time. And he knows that time is marching on him as well right now.
Murph, he got a standing ovation, very loud when walking down to this grade. The crowd is really starting to take to him. And up on the tee, he said, man, is this exciting.
Right. It's got to slow down.
Maybe too exciting.
Well, a lot of those left for par won't be very exciting, I can tell you. Up to 5.
And the birdie putt for Lee Westwood. Chance to get it to 2 under within 1 of the lead.
Well, he's going about it quietly, isn't he?
Yes, he is, Johnny. Oh, wow. That'll be a par for him. And he was saying, you know, I'm always quite happy to just kind of go out and grind out a bunch of pars. Well, that's 5 in a row for him. As we go to 13.
This was a moment
18.
Moment ago, Aaron Baddeley at the last hole, 3rd of the par 5. Remember, he was in that final group with Tiger Woods at last year's U.S. Open. Got off to a horrendous start, but Baddeley here drops it in for eagle.
And I have to make mention his longtime caddy, Pete Bender, who caddied for Jerry Hurd and a lot of great players. One of the great caddies of all time, is really struggling in Northern California with cancer, and wish him the absolute best, Pete Bender.
Well, his man Bads just eagled the 18th after a double at 17. He was the 54-hole leader last year, led by 2, and shot 80 on that final round Sunday with Tiger to drop the tie for 13th.
Appleby now for birdie and share the lead.
Good spot to putt from, Bob. Should turn just a little left, I would think.
Yeah, he saw Rocco's ball, didn't he?
Why do they go over the edge, Murph, on the weekends?
I thought that had tilt. Wow.
It is amazing, isn't it, how it does that?
Yes, it is.
Gary, you've been there.
Yeah, Johnny, I think you called it very nicely a little bit earlier. It's like the hole shrinks up for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, you hit great putts, and it's like, well, they went in Thursday, Friday. What's going on?
Well, what's Tiger got at 4, Roger?
Well, it's a thick lie, not a ridiculous lie. Has 183 yards to the hole. Of course, there is that bank to the right of the green and the opening in the front right. I think, if anything, he's going to try to bounce it up into that if he can.
This is the lion stance, Roger, that just puts that huge torque on the left knee, and the more he hits it in the rough, the more he's stressing that knee.
Torrey hits that. We go to 3 quickly.
Rocco for par. It just gets away from him. First 3-putt of the week for Rocco. Back to Tiger.
You know what I'm saying, Roger, don't you, on that kind of live, because you got to really stay down on that thing and power up onto your left side to get through that rough.
Right, and it flex more in your legs, and it's harder to drive up into that left side when the ball's below your feet. You're right.
There's a lot of... There's some bad places this can go. The biggest one is short left is not real good. Davis Love wasn't too bad there, but there is an opening with sideboards on the right. The sideboards are right over in this area here, and he's, of course, the opening is there. He's going with the stinger runner, and it didn't come out, huh, Roger?
And now it's turning a little bit more left than he wants and catches that front greenside bunker.
I think all in all, that's not a bad leave, because it's back into the wind, right?
Yes.
Let's take a look at this knee action, and you see how he holds the club up like Jack Nicklaus did when he was playing a lot. choking down on it about 2 inches. Look at the torque in that leg and the back and the muscles in this thing. And you talk about, you wouldn't want your ankle to be down there. And she turns that thing down. Look at the supination. And look at the grass flying all over the place.
Tiger kind of limping his way around here. So far hanging in there even after the double bogey start. More work for him left at the 4th.
Sunday, it's Mike Myers, the Love Guru, in a primetime special with all new comedy.
Excellent.
The best of Mike Myers, Sunday night, 8 Central on NBC.
Monday, Nashville Star goes live. Be there for a live elimination and a performance by Trace Atkins. All new Nashville Star, Monday, 9, 8 Central on NBC.
The Men's Warehouse Summer Sale is going on now. Save on a big selection of suits and sport coats, dress shirts, shoes, and sportswear.
Men's Warehouse. You're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it.
There are more than 3,100 points to scrutinize. 3,100 digitally calibrated, laser inspected welds, fittings, connections, and finishes on the RX to make sure it's absolutely flawless. Visit your Lexus dealer today for an exclusive look at how nothing else is built like a Lexus RX. Lease the 2009 RX for $449 a month for 36 months for $34.99 due at signing.
At Papa Murphy's Pizza, thin is in. Thin as in our herb chicken Mediterranean delight pizza. Thin as in cracker thin crust, 100% real mozzarella, grilled chicken, fresh spinach, and sun-dried tomatoes, topped with feta and zesty herbs. And finally, thin as in a thin waistline because you get fewer calories and a skinny little price tag. Try our herb chicken Mediterranean delight pizza for just $7.99 because thin is in. Handmade, home baked. That's Papa Murphy's.
The Men's Warehouse Summer Sale is going on now. Save on a big selection of suits and sport coats, dress shirts, shoes, and sportswear.
Men's Warehouse. You're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it.
Thank you for making KCRA3 Sacramento's #1 news source.
Tiger Woods moving some traffic behind the green at 4 with his 3rd.
Sort of hitting to oblivion in the back, huh?
Yeah, it's a great look, isn't it, with the ocean over the vista there.
Yeah, nearest land is the Aleutian Islands going that way.
Went right under it. It's such a perfect lie and went right under it, John.
Over to 5.
And Davis Love's 3rd shot, Dottie.
It's a pretty steeply downhill lie, Gary, but this should make it easier to chase it back up the hill with all this green to work with. Should come out low running.
Well, pretty well done. Poor tee shot. Going to set up his troubles, but chance to save par. And his playing competitor, DJ Trahan, this was his 2nd shot. 190 yards.
Classic swing, Gary.
No, it didn't. It's very much the motion that his father, Don, teaches, a very upright motion.
And then cut across it, huh?
Yeah, it worked very effectively there.
Plays a cut, huh?
He does as we go to 4.
In the 3rd for Carlson, very close. Going down in there, Raj.
Close to the hazard's edge, but not much green to work with here. Very delicate little shot. Okay.
Boy,
not too
soft. Very soft landing.
Well, all these players showing some great talent here on a U.S. Open course. And NBC Tuesday, America's Got Talent returns with David Hasselhoff, Sharon Osbourne, and Piers Morgan. It's America's #1 show, and it's back. America's Got Talent, NBC Tuesday at 9, 8 Central. And now on the tee at the 4th, Appleby, the co-leader with Rocco.
Sort of an aggressive club. We've seen Davis's long iron, Tiger's 3-wood, now a driver. And
yeah, kicked over to the people.
Not too good. Not good at all. That's really just outside the rope, so it's untouched rough.
Oh, well, look at that shot. Those cliffs all the way down the left side of 4 as we pan back, zoom back into the green at the 4th.
What a great piece of property. Just great.
And Tiger Woods looking over tester here for par, Raj.
Rare when you don't see him hit a good bunker shot. Certainly when he's got one. There really wasn't a hard one there. I mean, that was a wonderful lie. A little bit uphill slope, had plenty of green to work with, and has left himself now. Oh gosh, good 12 feet.
Some pressure on this putt, Roger. I mean, he's really, you know, sort of leaking oil here by his standards.
Yeah, he's got to stop the leaking, that's for sure.
This goes left, huh?
Yes, a little bit.
Beautiful setup, just perfect.
So a double bogey at the first, a bogey at the fourth.
What a start.
Tigers dropped 3 in the first 4 holes. But he is only 3 back after beginning the day 1 back.
Torrey Pines is showing some claws. Even with the tees up, the tees are up 200 yards today, folks.
Let's go to 5.
Just a moment ago, Trahan for birdie to get back to red figures. Very straight putt. Looks like it wants to go right, but it just won't do it. And he is not happy about that. And now live, Davis for his par. Dottie?
And I believe, Gary, this has to go a little bit left.
Yeah, there's a knob coming in from the right-hand side of the green that should influence it slightly. Good putt. A very nice recovery. Poor tee shot, gets away with making par. He'll remain at even and just 2 off the lead. Back to 4.
And Robert Carlson to stay at +1. 8 players began this 3rd round under par. There are just 3 remaining.
Old man Par might win another Open.
Just happens every U.S. Open, doesn't it, seemingly?
Yeah, last couple with 5 over.
+5.
Yeah.
Oakmont, Wingfoot.
Yeah. 3 in a row.
And here is Appleby fighting the rough at 4.
It's not the worst lie I've seen here, Johnny, but it's not a very good one, that's for sure.
Only thing I know is Tiger Woods barely got in the bunker, so that sort of puts things in perspective.
I would think, if anything, he'd try and get this short and right.
Is he laying this up?
He's looking left, so he must be. He's got to go. That'll make it.
Yeah, that had to be a layup with that club. He just really put that same motion he did at number 2, wasn't it? Same little, almost, what was it? A step over the Chi-Chi Tiger movie did it. The Masters, it was so famous on number 5.
You know, Johnny, when the marine layer is in here like this pretty much all day long, it makes the rough much more difficult, I believe. Keeps the moisture in the grass. Rocco now from 167.
Looked like they missed the green with this whole location, but it's the toughest one. It's a great pin. With a tee up, very fair. And that's a smart shot.
Rocco a little frustrated with that. It was almost like he wanted to get a little closer to the left. And over at the 5th.
Tiger Woods on the tee at the 453-yard par 4.
Hey, he's played this 9 2 times in a row, Gary. What a difference, huh?
Yeah, very much so. Yesterday, birdied 3 of the first 4. Today, +3.
Of course, if you didn't watch yesterday, he shot 30 on this 9, and now he is looking at a lot different score if he doesn't get it going.
3-wood here, shaping this ball right to left. This should be very good here. Solid tee shot there.
How do I like looking down there, Gary?
I don't know, John. Good question.
Well, you mentioned the marine layer and keeping the moisture in this golf course. It just makes the longest U.S. Open course in history even tougher. A look at some of the longest and how they have increased the yardage through the years. Wingfoot, the 2nd longest, just a little longer than Oakmont last year. And Torrey Pines on the card, more than 7,600 yards. It's playing About 200 yards shorter than that today, as a number of tees have been moved up.
Yeah, but the big thing is with the Kikuyu fairways and the moisture, you're only getting about 20 yards roll at best, and a lot of times 10 yards roll. So that is a real 74-50 or whatever it is.
Mickelson called this course the hardest golf course in the world. That was in April when he played it, before they kind of took the rough down a little bit. But
I wouldn't quite put it up there with Oakmont, but it's close.
All right, Appleby here with his third to this par 4 fourth.
Got just 100 yards. Pretty good angle from the right-hand side, but you do not want to miss left.
Real nice thump. Did he hit it the right distance, though?
Looks pretty good.
That's a very conservative line with a wedge, I can tell you that. But he's putting. Well, it looks like a bogey.
We move ahead to 6. Again, a converted par 5, which is a 515-yard par 4. Westwood, who's at 1 under in solo third.
Got that face open, trying to play a cut, and he gets a cut bounce, and it's a pretty good shot. This is a very difficult hole.
And one of the few true dog legs as it winds to the right. And over at 18, Mickelson has arrived there. If you just joined us, Mickelson was +1 through the first 12 holes before making a quadruple bogey at the 13th. That 9 at 13 was the highest score he has ever made in a U.S. Open. And he watched all those balls trickled back down the big slope, 3 of them come back to his feet there. So that was tough for his hometown fans to watch.
Tough for everybody to watch.
So now he's at +10 as he plays 18 here.
Yep. His hopes have officially been dashed with this round. It's a very fast putt. Looks good, Phil. Oh, broke towards the ocean right there. A little wiggle. It was in, and then just for some reason it just barely kicked right and then flattened out again. So that was in, but it didn't go in.
It's so much hope coming into this championship. Now 12 shots off the lead. And over to Tiger.
At the 5th, a good look at the hole location over in the middle right portion of the green.
And from the right-hand side, Gary, not the best angle, certainly, with the wind kind of coming down and right to left. Makes it that much tougher to get close. It's 158 left to the hole.
Yeah, that's exactly right, John.
So to get to...
See, he's only hit 1 of 4 fairways and only 1 green.
So to get to this hole location, Roger, you'd have to, with a draw, it would be darn near impossible, but you'd need to cut it right at the flag with a cut. A little 5-foot cut, it'll hold it right on line.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to try to, if you're going to try to get it close, you have to hit something and carve it against the wind.
There's officially a cut lie, right, Gary?
Yeah, the ball should be a little bit below his feet.
See if he holds it open on the follow through. Very weak left-hand grip. He's looking right here with his eyes.
Bye. Looks like he pulled it.
Yeah, this is headed left.
You know, we talk about that lie makes you come over it, Gary.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it, Johnny?
Yeah, it just happens, I'd say, 70% of the time.
Well, it's hole high, but it's up on that upper shelf. So we'll leave a very quick putt, and you can see him making the motion that he just kind of flipped the club through instead of holding on to it.
Oh, that's just like a perfect description, Gary. He just showed you.
Yes, he did.
Look at that.
Back at 4.
And birdie try for Rocco.
There's a spine right there, and he's got to putt it up over that. Up, 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 up. And now, did you hit it, Rocco? Rocco, that's the opposite of the last hole. That's quick going over there, but you know, last hole he blew it way by, but that thing trickled a long ways. It's only what, how far, Mark? 6 feet?
And over at 18, Mickelson for birdie.
Yeah.
Looked forward to this championship ever since it was first announced it was going to be staged here at Torrey Pines, a course that he played high school golf matches on. And he is now 11 back at a tie for 52nd. Over at the 4th, Appleby for par.
Very quick going down the hill.
Well, he played it like a bogey and he got it, Mark.
Yeah, you just cannot drive the ball where he drove it here to make a par.
And up ahead to 6. Long birdie try for Westwood.
Another putt with a huge ridge right there. You can see it. There it goes up that ridge. Will he get it there, putting away from the water? It's a good putt.
Westwood feeling a lot better after he was forced to withdraw from that BMW PGA Championship a couple of weeks ago from food poisoning and tonsillitis. They say he's gotten better in a hurry. Now back at that 4th green, right on the edge of the cliffs here at Torrey. And a bogey attempt here for Stewart, Mark.
Well, he hasn't had a lot of luck in the U.S. Opens. He had a stretch there, an 8-year stretch, where he missed 7 of the 8 cuts.
His best in 12 U.S. Opens, a tie for 10th back at 98. And again, this was the very first time that he had taken a lead at the midway point in any major. And the MetLife blimp, Snoopy 3, like all of us, kind of waiting for this stuff to burn off. We'll see if it happens. And thanks to the folks at the MetLife for providing today's aerial coverage. And congratulations to the MetLife as they celebrate their 140th year anniversary. I can't think of a better place to hang out along the coastline here in Southern California. La Jolla down there off in the distance. And now Rocco for his par.
Big putt here for Rocco.
And he's going to have the lead by himself. Remember, yesterday Rocco led by as many as 3 shots at one point midway through his 2nd round, and now he's got the lead by himself again. He got to as low as 4 under yesterday. And the happy-go-lucky Rocco continuing on his way here in this U.S. Open.
And we move over to 17, Dan, where Sergio Garcia has a very makeable putt for a birdie, and this would move him to +3 with the par 5 18th left to go. Has really hung in there, Johnny, after being 6 over par after the first 7 holes.
This is just off the fall line?
Yeah, it is. It's a surprisingly straight putt. Most of the players have tried to make it go to the left, and it just doesn't really want to do it.
Looks good.
Yeah, well, that one just hangs right there. Well, testing Mr. Garcia's patience are the greens here as we go to 6.
Check in with Miguel Angel Jimenez for par. This was a moment ago.
He hit that putt on the heel by accident. That's why it came up short. The heel on putters is very dead.
Jimenez has now made 3 bogeys in the last 4 holes. Westwood made his par. He's a 1 under. Westwood has recorded 6 straight pars to start, and now back out in the fairway.
And Davis Love with 225 yards remaining. Tough hole location here today. It's 220 to the top level.
Most difficult hole today, Dottie. Just 1 birdie. And just a quarter of the field hitting the green in regulation.
You know, when you get a converted par 5, usually the designers on a par 5 make the green a lot more tricky because you're hitting little wedges or chipping around the greens for your birdie. So now these guys playing it as a 4 have got a green with some real tricky little parts of the green, and this green is very difficult.
It is, yeah, very segmented green.
Yeah, that's the word I wanted.
That's coming in high at the right segment.
Thanks for the assist, Dottie.
My pleasure.
There's that segment that he missed.
How about quadrant? Will that work?
She's right.
Okay,
Segmented.
let's go with that. That ball's still moving off of the segment.
See, that's why this green. This is a tough hole because of the darn green. Let alone the fact it's a dog leg and it's fairly narrow and it's long.
Longest par 4 in U.S. Open history. Now, Tiger at the 5th.
His lengthy putt for birdie, and Raj, this a quick one off this shelf. just drip it over the edge of the slope right about there. Now it should start to pick up some speed as it moves toward the hole. Boy, what a good putt. That had to look good for a long time. Tiger Woods not seeing much good happening so far. +3 early in his round. Rocco Mediate with the one-shot lead. We'll be back to the U.S. Open in a moment.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
Mr. Delaney's office. Oh, hello, Mr. Delaney. You're not feeling well? I'm sorry. Yes, I can have that ready for you, and you'll be stopping in to pick it up? Oh, you'll stop in tomorrow. And what about the big presentation today at 2 o'clock? Absolutely, I'll have him conference you in from home. Okay. Feel better, Mr. Delaney.
FedEx, proudly bringing you the FedEx Cup.
If finding your way to the right life insurance feels impossible, MetLife can help. Our online life insurance selector helps you quickly decide how much and what kind you need to help you create your personal safety net. Only at MetLife.com.
The U.S. Open. It's not how you mark your golf ball. It's how you mark your Titleist. How do you mark your Titleist?
The heartburn-stopping strength of Zantac also comes with a refreshing hint of cool mint. Maximum strength Zantac 150 Cool Mint tablets. Heartburn? Attack it. Zantac.
If you could change the way wireless companies did things, what would you do? I'm Dan Hesse, the new CEO of Sprint. Here's our idea. Use your phone for all the great things it can do without worrying about the meter running. How's that for a wireless revolution? Pretty awesome, huh?
Okay. I get a stroke on this hole, too.
Another stroke. Really?
It's my handicap. Gives me a better chance against you.
Well, I think you'd have a better chance hitting up the ladies' tee.
Ouch.
At the USGA, we created the handicap index system because it allows everyone, regardless of skill, to compete against anyone. The USGA, for the good of the game.
What do you think about that?
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
June 28, the world focuses on London for tennis's ultimate test of excellence. Wimbledon returns June 28th to NBC.
Welcome back to the West Coast as we've reached 7 o'clock out on the East Coast, and just think, you've got about 3 more hours of coverage to come here on this Saturday night. Love for birdie at the 6th.
Better part of 80 feet. It comes up over the rise and goes left at the end.
Putting away from that ocean, away from the south. Is
very sticky.
Yeah, very slow, and the marine layers out there keeping the moisture on the greens.
Back to the 5th and the solo leader.
Yeah, Rocco's second here. Good angle.
Nice rate with his hook, though.
No, it didn't. And that from 165. But, you know, he's been confident enough to be playing the draw anyway, and he does it again, Johnny. That's, you got to give him credit.
Well, he knows it's coming, so he plays for it.
Yeah. Up at 10.
With the pink trowel, Camilo Bijegas for birdie to get to +2.
He's playing great this week. To the green.
Back to even on the day. And he's within 4. And back over to 6. Tiger off this 515-yard par 4, Roger.
Well, on a hard dogleg right, there's a eucalyptus tree just above the barranca on the right-hand side, immediately in front of the tee, about 80 yards. And I think the players want to take it across the left center of that tree. Is a pretty good line.
You can hear "Let's Go Rocco" chants in the background as Tiger's teeing it up here.
He's yesterday really held the club face open beautifully, but the wind's really left to right a lot today.
Well, He's hitting a pretty good cut here.
It's the
moved this ball a lot left to right, Johnny.
Yeah, that's a good shot. Well, there is slice one, plus he cut it. That was a beautiful shot.
How about a pro tracer look at Tiger's tee shot?
This is like designed. You couldn't hit a better shot than this. See that? That's just like power fade.
An artist.
Just fantastic. Just
right over the edge of the eucalyptus.
Let's take a look at this. You want to see a power fade move, weak grip, takes it back, opens that face pretty darn quick, real quick, and then from there, watch the torque that he puts on this. Just gorgeous. Look at the torque on that shaft. Look at the leg action come up out of it, and just really just a full cut. That's the shot that Hogan developed, where he learned to cut it without losing distance. Look at that finish. Nice.
Up ahead on the green, Trahan for birdie.
Well, it's a good putt, just didn't read it quite right.
And a good par at the most difficult hole today. Up ahead at 7.
And Robert Allenby now for par. Put it into bunker. Blasted out to there, so that's a good save.
He's been playing well lately. If he were to win, it wouldn't be a big surprise.
No, it wouldn't.
Davis for a 2-putt par. Yes, Love keeping it together within 2. Again, a sectional qualifier to get back into major championship play after missing the Masters in April. And back to 5.
And Appleby with a chance for a birdie.
Putt that should have a little bit of a fade to it, although the wind's coming from the right.
Got it well off the hole, Mark.
Man.
That just not read very well.
I'm not sure what Rocco says. Yeah, thanks for the help there on that read.
That's one of those you hope you weren't watching.
Players under par. It is become a U.S. Open in a hurry here. 11 in the first round, 8, and now we're down to 3.
Yeah, and really the wind's a little different, but the wind's actually dropped from 14 miles an hour down to 8 or 9. And the marine layers stayed on all day, Gary. So yeah, the greens are the softest they've probably been, I think.
I would agree. Certainly there should be some moisture in the greens, and we're seeing well-struck shots hold very nicely.
I would think there's a good chance Rocco could hold this one now, particularly after seeing Stewart's putt.
Yeah, not too many guys have gone from the long putter for a long duration and then go to a short one and then win a big championship. It's very rare, isn't it?
Firm enough? Yes, it is.
He loves that putter, I'll tell you that.
Rocco Mediate to 3 under par, and the lead grows to 2.
Look at him, he's so much fun.
Up at 10.
Well, this was Robert Dinwiddie from the bunker with his 3rd, a qualifier from across the pond at Walton Heath, and Robert Dinwiddie is in with a birdie and is at +2 for the championship. 25-year-old qualifier from England.
He was number 2 in putting going into this round, so he's doing it around the greens, isn't he?
Absolutely. Over to 5 again.
Oh, that was a dead pull there, Johnny. That was not a good stroke.
Well, he's not done well in majors his whole career for no particular reason, and it's sort of showing up today. Of maybe his insides and majors don't necessarily like each other.
Well, he was saying, someone was asking him in the press room yesterday, Johnny, about being comfortable, and he goes, "You're never comfortable in a major." Well, it's showing today. So we go to 7.
And Lee Westwood for a birdie. Good position underneath the hole. Little left to right.
This is a rare birdie, Bob.
Yes, it is.
Nice slow putting stroke.
Good long swing of the putter.
And just as you were talking about that, I think the greens are a little bit slower today with the constant haze.
It's actually quite comfortable out there, I would think, except they dropped the yardage 200 yards, so what the heck?
Back at the 5th. Oh, wow. How about 4 putts from about 18 feet? Double bogey 6 for Stuart Appleby, drops him to +1. And Rocco Mediate, the 45-year-old from Pennsylvania, playing the best golf in this early in the 3rd round, 1 under par for the day. He's got a 2-shot lead in the 108th United States Open Championship. We'll be back to Torrey Pines in a moment.
I got ADT because my neighbors were robbed, but ADT did a lot more than protect me from burglaries. My dog was all alone when the fire broke out. ADT acted fast and called the fire department. They saved my home and her life.
Every day, ADT is there for our customers with an easy way to arm and disarm your system, plus fast alarm response from our advanced network of monitoring centers. Call now and save over $250 when you buy ADT's family package. ADT, always there.
There's a lot of wind today.
Yes, there is. Greens fees at Torrey Pines, $240. Gotta clear the hazard. Lesson after lesson after lesson, $55 an hour. Cleveland Loft Wedge, $110. Remembering to have fun while you play, priceless.
Nice.
For conquering the course, there's credit or debit MasterCard. Get into the game at priceless.com.
It began with 4 professional golfers given 4 Lexus courtesy cars, Annika Sorenstam in an ISF, Charles Hall III in a GS Hybrid, Chichi Rodriguez in an LX 570, and Raymond Floyd in an LS 460.
Take the right here.
What followed was hardly surprising.
A new day has dawned in life insurance and annuities. Introducing Aviva. Aviva offers innovative life insurance and annuity products, all designed to help you look forward to a bright future. Ask your financial professional about Aviva today.
This Father's Day, before you watch the final round at Torrey Pines, watch as Tony Romo, Matt Lauer, and Justin Timberlake challenge golf's toughest test. Look at that. The U.S. Open Challenge. Tomorrow on NBC.
Other than New York, San Diego is the only American city to produce 3 different U.S. Open champions. Billy Casper the first at Winged Foot, and then 7 years later at Olympic when he came from 7 back and won in a playoff. Former amateur sensation Gene Littler captured the championship at Oakland Hills, one of his 29 tour titles, and then most recently Scott Simpson captured the Open at Olympic Club, birdieing 14, 15, and 16 on his way to that final round 68 and win by 1 over Tom Watson. Great golfing spirit here in San Diego. Over at the 7th.
Davis Love's ready, Dottie.
A tremendous drive here. He only has 138 yards left to the flag, Murph. DJ Trahan drove the ball right off the tee, has missed the green short left.
Look.
Opportunity to be aggressive.
Boy, that's exactly what Allenby did right there.
That's been Davis's miss his whole career, that undercut push iron.
All right, Robert Carlson has been over here on the edge here for a while. Roger, what's been going on?
Well, he's ready to play his 3rd. He drove the ball right into the hazard, the barranca to the right. And they gave him immediate relief under penalty, of course, lateral water hazard rule. About 30 yards ahead of this. They now have made him go back further, but I don't believe Steve Williams, certainly, and I don't think Tiger believes that the ball carried any part of the hazard up here. This now from about 280 yards.
So Carlson in trouble at the 6. Now Tiger
217 yards left to the hole. Beautiful tee shot here, perfect position. Hole cut all the way in the back.
Wind left or right and slightly helping, Roger?
Yes, Johnny, that would be right. Maybe a little more help in it than you might think, but there is a left to right component to it, certainly.
As we mentioned, just 25% of the field reaching this hole in regulation.
Well, I bet you less than 25% drove it where he drove it.
Boy, he hit down on that ball.
Oh, this is a good-looking shot here.
Man, he hit down on that ball hard. I'm not
Boy, it hit soft.
I'm not so sure that he didn't go down too much, which would slow down the club head speed a little bit. That was a monster divot for a long iron.
We've seen a lot of players not getting that approach putt to the hole. This is a wild green, as you mentioned, Johnny. All the undulation here. And what normally is a par 5.
Yeah, it's that 5-par green. Let's take a look at this green grid, folks. And watch how the balls roll. You got that big hole in the left. And a lot of balls collect to the front, and they collect down in this little hole. They collect down in here. It's just a tough green for a long iron shot.
And here's a look at that hole location toward the back as we send you back to the tee. And the U.S. Open leader, Rocco Mediate, by 2 over Lee Westwood. There are just 2 players under par.
A little bit of a wait, but Rocco was very loose on the tee.
He does not soul the club. In fact, he's got it above the ball when he takes it back.
Come on. It's headed up the left-hand side.
He's really a body hitter. Uses his right side way more than his left, and he just sort of covers it with that and hits that nice draw every time.
Up ahead at 18. This would be a great way for Garcia to end his day, get it to +3, and wait and see how far everybody comes back.
Not much break here. Just right down the hill. Sergio
Garcia with that horrendous start in this championship with a 1-under round of 70.
Yeah, these are 2 good rounds right here. Whoops, a little late there.
He moved from 85th to 35th. Now he's 13th. Back to the tee at 6, and Appleby struggling on the greens.
Needs a good drive here. He's holding that finish. He likes it. He's a long hitter. Very strong fellow, but it's a little right. He was posing, but didn't do any good.
Look at Rocco. He's being serenaded from tee to green, and he's soaking it up. You know, there's a lot of different ways of playing a championship like this. You can go with the blinders down the fairways, or you can just converse like Rocco does. Westwood at the 8th. He's begun his day with 7 straight pars to remain at 1-under.
Good shot. That's very
come
makeable.
off.
That's only about 12, 13 feet from the hole. That's a beauty.
Back to 7.
And Davis coming out of the bunker now. Pretty deep bunker there. Big swing.
Just sticks it down in there.
Nice splash, yeah. That's well done.
That is a deep bunker,
How deep it is.
All right, the 4th for Carlson at the 6th.
Has drawn a very good lie here, and we'll have to pitch the ball, I believe, onto the middle terrace of the screen, and then we'll have to chase up on top to the rear terrace up over a ridge. So it's a shot from about 100 feet.
Tough to get the right distance. Easy to come up short.
Which that, I believe, will do.
So he's going to have that putt for bogey. Let's bring in USGA Executive Director David B. Fay for some more thoughts on Carlson on this hole.
Well, as Roger said, determining where the ball last crossed that red line, the lateral water hazard, it's a subjective exercise. Tiger and Steve Williams back at the tee thought it didn't cross. But we do have 2 forward observers, and they made a judgment as to where it last crossed. Now, Roger also said that the player originally was up 30 yards to the green, and he dropped the ball actually, and that was in a wrong place. Now, he was told to drop the ball there by the officials. They conferred and determined that the correct spot was about 30 yards back. There's no penalty. That's covered under Rule 20-6. And interestingly, even if Carlson had dropped it on his own without any, if he's told that it's in the wrong place, he can pick it up and drop it in the correct place. No penalty. But the key is to have those forward observers. But it's still a subjective exercise, as we all know, particularly on dog legs like this.
Okay, David, thank you. Now, Tiger with a long birdie try, Raj.
This from about 50 feet and from the very front terrace of this green, so up across one ridge and across a terrace. It should swing it some to the left, I would believe. And then about 2/3 of the way the hole will climb up another ridge.
This is about as fast as cold maple syrup right here.
Not a lot of players getting it there today.
Putting away from the ocean.
Tiger's got some speed on it.
Well, that's got enough speed.
Yep, that's a good one. He gave it a good right-hand wrap.
Tiger, who's played this course so many times as we go back to 7.
Davis for his par. DJ Trahan did miss his par putt. You have to make those. You certainly do. Good up and down. Poor shot from the fairway, but came out with a par. That's important.
Westwood for his par at 8. He blew it by from the other side just off the collar.
Wow, he must have been thinking I'm going to make 2.
So
he's
there's
putting
an
away from
unforced
the
error,
ocean.
huh? Wow.
Yep, that is a huge error. That's a 1.5 shot swing there. He would birdie that almost half the time or a third of the time, and he ends up making a bogey.
And how about one player left under par and a 3-shot lead for Rocco Mediate. Back over at 18, Mahan a moment ago trying to post +2.
Easy putt, right edge.
Hey, at this point, +2 is not looking very bad when you consider the leaders backing up. Not a single player is under par today in the last 14 groups.
Oh, man.
That's hard to believe. Carlson for bogey at 6.
Nope. People are falling away. Tiger Woods is probably looking at that leaderboard and going, wow, I could be just running away with this thing. And as it stands, in case you just tuned in, Tiger Woods is +1 with a double bogey and a bogey, and 4 behind Rocco.
In 4th place right now, despite a double bogey start.
Roger, what's the feeling like out there? Does it feel like a Ryder Cup after that drop?
I don't think it's quite that contentious, no, John.
I was just kidding, but
you know, we mentioned that double bogey start for Tiger and how rare it is. He had 300 consecutive holes without a double bogey on this course coming into this week. Now he's got 3 doubles in this championship.
Great worm cam here. Got that line there. He misses those about once every 10 years.
But then a beautiful par at the long par 4, and Tiger's 4 back at Mediate, but he's only got 2 players in front of him, just 1 behind him. Now Love.
Definitely picked that off the tee, no divot whatsoever. That's an 8-iron. Might have caught it 1 groove low, but that's going to funnel back. But it's a good shot. Davis is hanging in there. I'm real proud of him. You know, he's at that age where he could go the other direction. Things haven't gone well for him in a couple of years.
And how about this guy, 45 years old, and the only player in the last 17 pairings who's under par.
Big shot here. 247 yards to the hole he's got.
Like I said earlier, he only hits about 265. He likes the line. Did he get it?
I think he did.
He's just playing better than everybody else. That's all there is to it. Hitting the fairways, hitting the greens, Mark.
He's having more fun than anybody else.
Yeah, he is really having a lot of fun, Johnny, and I think that's the key.
I don't even think he's missed a fairway, has he?
Let's go to 7.
And Tiger's tee shot now on this dogleg right. It's nice to hit that same cut he hit on the last hole.
Now the wind is going from the northwest, coming from the northwest, so it's coming across, huh?
It's from the right and maybe helping just slightly.
So he could ride the wind with a hook or cut it up into it and lose a lot of yardage.
Picked up that tee fast. That's why.
Pardon me, Roy. That's out there.
Well, it's a tough day. That huge flag on the back of that ship down there will tell you that the wind, in fact, is blowing. When it blows, scores go high. We'll be back to the U.S. Open Championship.
Morning, guys.
Morning. Hey.
I'm Phil. This is my man, Bones. And we think we can help your game. Go ahead and hit your driver. Not bad. Give this driver a try. I think we'll be able to eliminate that weak slice. Look at that.
Yahtzee.
You see how much hotter that was?
The FT5 driver with fusion technology, gold medal winner on the Golf Digest Hot List. Another game-changing idea from Callaway Golf.
When you're the greatest golfer on earth, what's next? New Gatorade Tiger with 25% more electrolytes. It's in Tiger Woods. Is it in you?
Can you match this?
Shouldn't be a problem.
Cool.
This?
Yes. This? Got it.
This?
Sure. Let me show you.
With our free color matching system, Lowe's can match any color you can come up with or come in with.
This?
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 This? This? This?
This? Absolutely.
And Lowe's carries high-quality Valspar paint. Lowe's. Let's build something together.
With, an unassuming word that holds so much meaning. The moment you add with, a bond is created. I'm with Child. She's with me. We're with the band. Our financial advisors champion with, because we're fully invested in your success. Search for those who value with. We did. A.G. Edwards is now with Wachovia Securities. Let's see what with can do for you.
I believe someday I'll drive the ball 300 yards. Make a hole-in-one.
Beat my sister. My brother.
My dad. Sign autographs.
Lots of autographs.
A million autographs.
Shoot my age. Break 65. Approach 18 with a 3-shot lead.
Sink a 10-foot putt.
To win the U.S. Open.
Win the U.S. Open.
Twice.
At the USGA, we believe champions can come from anywhere. That's why we have championships for everyone. The USGA, for the good of the game.
Davis Love trying to break out of that tie for second. Birdie attempt at 8. Dottie.
Uphill. Slow. Over this, yeah, very slow, looking for his second birdie of the week here.
Yeah, he just wasn't going to get that there, I don't think.
Steady day going, though, for Davis Love. He has had all sorts of injuries in the last 10 months. Time for an afternoon snack.
Hey, that ground squirrel's got to eat too, you know. Might shorten his life, but he likes it.
Look at him hold on to that. Better wipe off those whiskers. Johnny, you were just munching on one of those yourself just a moment ago.
Hey, yeah, why not?
Little peanut butter cracker. Boy, the contenders really having a tough time here at Torrey Pines on this Saturday. And we thought when we came here there were some pretty good scores going out there earlier, but the contenders here are all falling back. And right now we've just got one player under par. It's turned into a U.S. Open here.
If you would have renamed this tournament and of course the championship, the San Diego Open, you wouldn't be seeing these scores. But the fact that it's the United States Open and it changes people's lives and they know it, the hole does shrink up on the weekend and guys are just not playing well except for Rocco. Rocco's hitting it not very far, 265, which is very short by today's standards, but he's hooking it down the middle hooking it on the green and saying thank you very much.
The way those folks out east, they are going to have a late snack because it's now approaching 7:30 out there.
Yeah.
And we'd like to welcome everybody. If you just joined us here out on the East Coast, taking you deep into prime time till 10 o'clock Eastern time. And there is Miguel Angel Jimenez at the ninth.
And getting ready for his second shot here at the par 5. And Johnny, now that the wind has switched a little bit, actually helping in from the right here, a number of players have been able to get the ball very close to the green in 2.
I like that he overswings there on purpose to keep those muscles loose for the real one. Did you notice that?
Yeah, he certainly won't turn nearly as much as he does in the practice swing, nor get the club as far back.
A little bit of a quick hook, or
yeah, that sure was.
Maybe
very quick hook.
Maybe that practice swing made him overswing too much.
I don't know, but that's not good with the front left hole location.
No, no, it isn't.
This was a moment ago at the par 4-6, the 4th for Appleby, who drove it in the rough.
That's a tough little shot. You could chunk it real easily. That's not too bad at all. That's fast. Woo, but it's fast.
It's going to lose another shot, though. That's going to be 4 shots lost in the last 3 holes. He drops to +2, +5 on the day.
And perfect position right here, Roger Maltby, for Tiger.
That's as center gets right here. 155 to the hole.
You think he'll carve a little left to righter in there?
Well, he's got a bit of a downhill lie here, John, with the ball a little bit below his feet, which would, you know, make you think he'd want to do that with the ball, certainly with the hole back right.
Tough hole location, folks. That is tough with the wind coming right to left.
Now, this just a little left of the hole. Pretty good looking shot.
The other ball, that of Robert Carlson there. Little bit of safety in there, but you do not want to miss to the right. Back to 6.
And Rocco Mediate.
This is from about 14 feet. Quick, not much break, maybe just a little to the left.
That was pretty pure, Mark.
Yes, it was.
Oh, man, he just about stole one on the field there if that went in.
Gary mentioned he survived that playoff in a qualifier, 11 guys for 7 spots. Rocco said, I was playing with a bunch of kids all in their 20s out driving me by 50 yards. Here he is, the leader in the Open, out to 9 again.
And Davis Love on the tee, certainly with the length to reach it if he can hit a good drive.
And that appears to be a very good one, Gary.
He's swinging really well, Gary.
I agree, Johnny. He was saying he has worked extremely hard, not only on rehabbing the ankle after the surgery, the left ankle, but also on his golf swing. Back to 6.
And Rocco to stay in the lead by 3 over Love and Westwood. Rocco Mediate at age 45, hasn't won in 6 years.
A lifetime of sacrifice, all for this moment. What's your destiny? The Olympic Trials, next Saturday on NBC.
Toyota's full throttle sales drive is on, and the gas-saving Toyotas are coming on strong. Take a look at RAV4, now with an amazing zero due at signing lease. And you'll keep on saving with RAV4's 27 MPG. And it's time to check out Highlander Hybrid, also with 27 fuel-friendly miles to the gallon. Save more, get more. More miles per gallon, that is. Now at Toyota's full throttle sales drive.
So I told him I want it delivered free, I want it delivered the next day, I want it hooked up free, and I want you to take away the old one free or there's no deal. Oh yeah, they made the deal.
Nice work, Dad.
How can I help you? At Lowe's, we offer free next-day delivery and haul away. Lowe's, let's build something together. So I told him I want it delivered free.
Every car maker's focusing on fuel efficiency, but they've forgotten about the power. At Nissan, we do more with a drop of fuel than any other manufacturer. The dependable Altima, versatile Sentra and reliable Versa. 3 performance sedans with 31 miles per gallon or higher. Lease the Nissan Altima for $199 a month or get $1,500 Nissan cash back on Sentra. Nissan sedans. Lean, mean, driving machines.
Thank you for making KCRA3 Sacramento's #1 news source.
Well, we see it every year on the faces of the players competing in the U.S. Open. I like the words used by David Fay, who says it's been in our DNA since the very start. Tough courses, tough tests. Either deal with them or fall out of contention. And we've seen a lot of that kind of style today on the various players as we get you back out to the 7th. And Tiger
going a little backwards today, 3 over par. And this putt just outside left edge. A little slower than most guys are reading this putt.
He's due, Murph.
He is due.
What time?
Just like that. Got a pretty good view of Carlson's putt, which missed on the right. Tiger bounces back to even par. Taking advantage of opportunities.
Here he comes.
Not too excited. Not yet. And back on the tee. Rocco. Taking that familiar little bounce. Puts that right foot back a little bit.
Yep. First little hiccup with the fairways missed.
Here, take a look at this hole. You see it dogleg right. You see the fairway sloping left to right. Rocco's in that fairway bunker. Not a good spot. On the left-hand side, you got a big slope that drops off. Watch the green grid. You'll see the balls start to collect back to the front in the middle and then come back towards the middle as well. And there's the hole location in the back. They do have some grass in back of this hole as opposed to a lot, so the ball will not automatically go down in the hazard, the barranca. Over to 10.
Check in with Ernie Els. You can see it +2 right in it, despite going out in +237. Making the turn. Can't get much closer than that.
Boy, that was a good putt.
Back to 8. And Tiger in a tie for 2nd. And this from teeing ground to the green rises some 22 feet.
I think, though, if he lands it on the top tier, the first bounce will get to the back edge. It might stop there, but his ball flight, he's probably got to land it into the bank or just short. Downwind, left to right. How's that look? Yep, that's the problem, is his ball flight. Some guys could land there and hop it into the back tier, but his ball's got so much spin and height that it's got to challenge the top tier, and then it might go over, and then you're in big trouble.
To 9.
And the 4th shot for Jimenez. Remember, his 2nd into the left rough. Couldn't even hit the green. Played to this position. Very straightforward little pitch up the green. Look out! Oh! All kinds of ways to make birdie, I guess, Johnny.
Ole.
Ole is right. So Jimenez to even par.
All of a sudden, some roars around Torrey.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Back at 7.
Bad looking stance here, Mark Rolfing.
It is, Bob. It's a dangerous shot. 201 yards. He may be looking to just get it out somewhere down short of the green.
Can't get any power with that stance, can you?
No, he can't. And you know, as we've talked, Johnny, these bunkers have a little bit of softness to them, so the ball is sitting down just slightly.
Danger too if he has to stand with the left leg out of the right foot slipping. And
I would think what he doesn't want to do is hit it over in this area. Wouldn't you think, Bob?
Yes, he does not want to miss way right. Yes,
because the whole location's back right. You see the flag waving right there.
Making a bit of a cut motion there.
Boy, he got a lot of club on it, Bob.
Sounded pretty crisp.
Wow. What a shot.
Wow.
What a shot.
Well played, Rocco.
How about that little crossover step down?
That was terrific execution. You see the whole location, the far back right. Let's watch Rocco's reaction. I did it. Let's go up to Bob Costas.
All right, 26-year-old Hunter Mahan shot 69 today. He's 2 over, and at the moment, 5 back. That gap might have narrowed a little bit until Rocco Mediate hit a nearly miraculous shot out of the fairway bunker there.
He's playing great, playing great.
Just about everybody, you and Rocco among the few exceptions, has had their troubles out there. How is the course playing?
It's playing great. It's playing extremely fair. You can make birdies out there. It's an exciting course to play with 2 eagle opportunities, which is rare for a USGA event. So you can make some birdies, but you can definitely make some big numbers.
Talking about making some birdies, let's take a look at a few of the highlights of your round. This is 4 birdie at the par 4 10th. This is where you talk now, Hunter.
Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty basic putt. I was lucky, just right edge, and this is 13 front pin right there. You just have to pretty much hit it and let it coast down there. It's pretty quick once it gets right about here. It just went about 3 feet further than I thought.
And you hold it from there for the birdie. Yeah. This is the hole where Phil made a 9 today at 13. Here's your 3rd at the 18th.
Not the easiest shot here, but you know, where the pin is, there's just a big bank right there, and it's going to ride it up, and it came out as good as it could, and I was very excited to have about a 4-foot birdie putt there.
And here's a perfect way to finish your day and to put a 69 on the scorecard. Here comes the birdie putt at 18 following that terrific shot out of the bunker.
Yeah, it's just outside the hole. The birdie putts I made today actually weren't too far from the hole, which is nice.
Last year you played well at the Open at Oakmont, and then the following week you won the Travelers. Maybe this is your time of year.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully I can do it a little earlier next year, but to play well at the Open is always a great thing, and I'm looking forward to going to the Travelers next week.
Even though they're both majors, I realize it's apples and oranges and the course conditions are different, but you threw a 65 up on the board last year in the final round at the British. That might win it for you this year here.
Oh, no question. To play a great final round in a major is always a great thing. I'm going to definitely take that experience I had last year from the British and from the US Open and try to carry it on till tomorrow.
Good going today.
Thank you very much.
Out to 8.
Thank you, Bob. Hunter already with a pretty good USGA championship resume. The junior champion back in '99 and the runner-up in the US Amateur in 2002. And only 2 junior amateurs champions have won an Open.
Roger,
Tiger's one of them.
What do you got here?
About 30 feet. I think I'm sitting next to the other.
Thank you.
Always trying to work your name into the show, Johnny.
Thank you. I'll tip you later.
All right, then. About 30 feet. Pick it up, Roger.
Across the ridge. You guys having a good time up there?
Always, Roger.
Well, he birdied the last hole, Roger, and he got on that run yesterday afternoon. So in the second part of his 18. Slow putt, though.
There should be a slow putt for this. It was there, just not quite enough.
It's so predictable, though. You know, you find a putt that's uphill into the green, and you'd think guys could, with their experience, would be able to hit it a little harder, but it doesn't seem to be, huh?
He has settled down. Stays it even.
Well, a good chance to birdie the next hole if he can hit the fairway with his distance. He's the 2nd longest hitter in the field this week. So his knee has not shortened his distance, folks.
Back to 7.
And Rocco now lengthy birdie putt here. 40 feet or so, Bob, up the hill, but down green. Little right-hand break, and 2 putts would make him very happy, I believe. And that's nice. Don't expect to make those. Over to 9.
And this is the 4th shot for Davis Love. Remember the great tee shot? Well, the 2nd came up short right, 3rd short of the green. And a good shot there, but an opportunity missed. Davis had 280 to the hole for his second shot and will not be able to make birdie. Has yet to birdie this 9th hole. So tap in par. He'll remain at even. And we go ahead to 11.
And Robert Allenby off this par 3, 215 yards. One of the more difficult tests here at Torrey, and Allenby safely on. But a long way away. Allenby began the day at even. He is +2 on the day.
And a moment ago, Villegas, his 3rd on the par 5. Pulled it left of the green, hits this chip shot downhill, starts moving right now. Very nice. Goes on to tap that in. And back at 7, and Rocco's par putt. Well done. See Rocco's chest there, the V of the sweater. He still has his player ID on.
Just in case they forget who he is.
Over to 10.
And a second for Lee Westwood. Part of that group. 4 strong now at even par, 3 back.
There's that lie we talked about so many times, the ball below your feet 3 inches, and not a bad shot, Lee. I don't know what you're complaining about, but that's a good shot underneath the hole. Should make birdie from there. So he's right in there. A lot of European players playing pretty well.
Tee at 9.
And the 612-yard par 5. Tiger Woods with the driver.
Got some helping wind here. Time to air one out here.
Certainly an adequately wide fairway, just over 30 yards in width. Does slope from players left to right.
Wind this way, Gary?
Yeah, exactly. Helping in from the right, John. Ooh, he likes that one. Twirled across.
But he's turning back. I think this will be good.
Oh, it is, and gets a huge bounce. Wow. Oh, that is deep.
That's down at the sprinkler head nobody's used.
And let's watch this ball flight using our Pro Tracer.
It rides the wind, huh, Gary?
Yeah, he did. Got it started to the right. Got it turning a little bit with the wind. And that baby stayed in the air for a long time.
I don't think it'd be that much fun hitting after Tiger.
Over to 8.
Rocco.
And 181 yards up the hill. Needs to get up just a little. Well, it stays out of the bunker. I can see about half of the ball.
Well, nearly 53,000 attended this championship yesterday. That was the largest Friday attendance in U.S. Open history, and just got word that there's some 50,000 people on the golf course today along the cliffs of Torrey Pines South Course in the 108th U.S. Open. Back after this.
Why is Pro V1 the most trusted ball on tour? The same reason Pro V1 is the best-selling ball in golf. Every player wants to shoot lower scores, and Pro V1 and Pro V1X provide the short game control to help you do just that. Performing as well around the green as off the tee. So whether playing for your club championship or simply to achieve your personal best, make your game better than ever.
It began with 4 professional golfers given 4 courtesy cars to drive to the Open. What followed was hardly surprising, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's meet a driver, Annika Sorenstam. Focused, disciplined, and a tough competitor. It seemed appropriate she chose the 416 horsepower ISF.
I can't sleep.
Did you have a nightmare?
No, I'm worried about this family's financial future. Does your retirement plan provide predictability of income and protection against market risk? Do you have good supplemental health insurance? What about estate planning, car insurance? Dents are easy to fix, but liability's a nightmare.
Buddy, we're with AIG.
The AIG companies, the strength to be there.
Don't get up. I'll talk myself in.
What makes a man with shoulder pain like mine get back on the court and still move like a pro? I moved on up to Aleve. And what do you know? I got my jump shot back.
Just move on up. Only Aleve has the strength to let you move on up to all-day pain relief with just 2 pills.
Just move on up. In fact, I got all my good moves back.
Just move on up. Move on up to Aleve.
As we look out into the Pacific, the 108th U.S. Open Championship being brought to you by Wachovia Securities, by ADT, America's #1 security provider, by iMix from Callaway Golf, create the perfect driver for every round, and by Lexus, exclusive vehicle of the USGA and U.S. Open Championship. Taking you well into prime time on the East Coast, closing in on 8 o'clock. 5 o'clock out here on the West Coast and flying high in the sky. The MetLife Blimps giving us these gorgeous shots and providing coverage for more than 20 years and covering almost 70 events a year. And out to the 10th, Lee Westwood for a birdie to join Rocco under par. And he's got it.
That was a very good read because that thing did break left towards the hill, which is very unusual.
Westwood continuing to play well, picks up his first birdie, 2 back of Rocco, who's over at the 8th and in the rough, Mark.
And very much an uphill lie here, Johnny. Very easy to stick the club in the ground. You need to sort of swing the club with the slope.
Well, just the first green he missed all day, Mark. He's played better than anyone tee to green so far.
It's hard to judge the pace to get it up on that top shelf.
Yeah, the chance to get this the right distance, anything inside 6 feet would be nice.
That's a good shot.
Well, it's just about average.
Just one bogey for Rocco came at the 3rd. The other par 3 on this front 9, and we talked about the difficulty that the final pairings are having. Look at the scores. Westwood's having a pretty good day at even par, but the only player under par is Rocco. Appleby +5. He was the 36-hole leader by 1, and he's having a rough go of it. Out to the 9th.
And Tiger Woods getting ready for his second shot, and Roger, by our calculations, a 360-yard drive.
A huge tee shot and in perfect shape. Ball a little bit above his feet. Wind coming from the right. Hole cut front left. 252 to the hole. He's hit this ball very high, shaping it right to left, coming at the right part of the green.
Oh, it should kick left. And
yeah,
release.
it's a good one.
Oh, a bit unlucky. And it very softly.
That's a good spot there.
It is a very good spot.
Well, as we zero in on the state of California, Tiger's success in the San Diego area. Of course, the 6 junior world titles here. He's also won at La Costa on 3 different occasions as a World Golf Championship and as the Mercedes-Benz, and a 6-time winner here at Torrey Pines. Tiger winning this PGA Tour event 4 times in a row now. Won the last earlier this year by 8 shots and trying to double up here again in the U.S. Open. The 10th, we've got Davis Love's second, Dottie.
Second of 120 yards after playing conservative iron off the tee.
Come on. Go. Spin now.
Very steady round for Davis going here. 1 bogey. It came at the 4th. Still looking for his first birdie. Maybe it's going to come here at the turn. Up ahead to 12. This was a moment ago. Jeff Ogilvy playing with Ernie Els. Both at +2.
Wow, was that pure?
That is right in the heart.
That thing never moved a half an inch one way or the other.
And the 2006 champion moves to +1, 4 behind Mediate. Got off to a rough start. He bogeyed 3 of the first 6 holes. 1 under golf since. Over at 11, Westwood.
small target, 215 yards downhill into the wind, cross from right to left, 4-iron. Yeah, not bad at all. That's sort of that whole location right there. You know, if you're not Bruce Litsky or somebody like that, you're not getting to it. Only one birdie on 11 today, so that'll give you an idea about that whole location.
Over at the 8th, Rocco trying to stay 2 clear of Westwood.
Not a hard putt here, 5 feet, not much break, but slow.
Guy used to lean on that long putter, has abandoned it for now. And why not stay with it? Stays 3 under. Just survives another U.S. Open par saver.
Last 2 holes, the shot out of the bunker on the last par 4 was unbelievable, and that was a very good up and in there.
And he's collecting fans with each and every hole he plays here. Like his good friend and hero Arnold Palmer, the kind of guy that connects with the fans. Over to 14.
Scott Verplank from the bunker, 4 over par today. Not a good shot there, but lucky he hit the bunker. Would have been down in the ravine. Boy, that sand is thick up there. Whoa! Hit the backstop and fell in. Well, we got some good news going on around. Moves to +5. A little handshake from Bijegas. Bijegas is having a tough problem on this hole.
At the 10th, 3rd for DJ Trahan, 4 back.
Really cuts across that, puts a lot of spin on it, makes it come down really softly with that cut across move.
Trahan looking to stay at +1, and we'll remind you to join us on the all-new NBCSports.com for the Lexus U.S. Open wrap-up show immediately following today's coverage. Exclusive U.S. Open coverage and more on the all-new NBCSports.com. They'll be answering more questions for Johnny Miller on that wrap-up show, so tune in.
As we move out to the 9th and into the eyes of Tiger Woods, lining up this lengthy eagle opportunity.
And really not that difficult a putt, Gary. I think going to move a little right to left, isn't it, on the way up there?
Yeah, I would think so. Speed should certainly be no issue. I mean, he can be aggressive with it. It is up the hill.
Put it this way, it's makeable.
Well, just about any putt is makeable for this man.
I understand, but I promise you that's what he's thinking right now. He's thinking I can make this putt.
Just over, what, say 35 feet, something like that, right?
Just about right, 35 feet.
Roger, how many people are following him about?
Well,
have you counted?
Well, haven't got a complete count yet. It's a lot, I'll tell you that.
Speed's good. Oh, boy, just grazes the edge.
Now
he wanted that one, didn't he?
Yeah, now he's mad he hit it past.
Yeah, that's true. It catches the hole. And his reaction, boy, right about now, he thinks he's got it. Oh, no.
He was ready for a good old-fashioned Tiger fist pump there, Gary.
Was indeed.
Haven't seen the uppercut fist pump in a while. It's been kind of the downward motion lately. Maybe he's saving that for Sunday. All right, Davis Love, good opportunity here for birdie. A little tentative, huh?
Yeah, he's done a lot of those in his career.
He stays at even, back over to 9.
And Rocco certainly not with the length to reach this par 5 and 2 you wouldn't expect. He's kind of hung that one to the right. So he'll have to lay that up, but shouldn't be any issue. And Johnny, take a look at Rocco's swing here.
Well, he's got a lot of things going on that most people don't have. The way he holds the club up, which bends that left arm, but no hand action, no hand action, no hand action. Now he's in sort of a laid off position there, right over the right shoulder, though. A lot of height there to the swing. And what about this, Gary? Comes in there, elbow against his right hip, which is the best part.
Yeah, well, he's very much a proponent of the Jimmy Ballard method.
Look at that follow through.
Yeah,
looks like it hurts.
Well, he's 45, John.
It's like, oh, that hurts.
Yeah, there's a lot of grimacing going on.
But you see how high the right shoulder is, folks, up against his chin? That produces a draw. You want to hit a draw? High right shoulder finish, higher than the left.
It's not the only unorthodox swing from Western Pennsylvania, is it? Rocco from Greensburg, just down the road from Latrobe, is Hero Arnold. Now Westwood for birdie at 11. Steady as she goes.
That's a good par. That's a good par, 11.
Westwood remains 1 under, back to 9.
And the birdie putt here for Tiger Woods, and probably a little longer than what he was hoping to have.
Yeah, he's certainly being very diligent about it, that's for sure.
It's a tricky little putt, Roger. I've seen a number of players putt from this position. They keep looking for the ball to go to the left, and it's a very straight putt.
Nothing you like worse than when you got a putter in your hand and you make 5 on a par 5 when you hit it in 2.
That's just the way I've seen everybody miss it, Johnny.
Wow, that is Fry City for him. I hated those more than anything. I'd rather shank it than 3-putt a par 5 for a par.
Well, maybe not.
Well, as long as it's not OB or something.
Yeah.
It's like you deserve it. I mean, the guy hit it with 300, what was it, Gary?
60.
360 drive and an iron, right? Perfect. Looking at eagle. How'd you do? Par.
He's going to go back and take another look at it, but you know, it's amazing. Guys all see the same thing, Johnny. I've seen every player miss that putt to the right.
Man.
They head to 11.
Jimenez for par. Hit his tee shot in the bunker. But, oh, he was looking at it like it was going to drop.
No fair stepping.
That was the early call by the Spaniard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful scene there. That's it's dodging more bullets than Indiana Jones with Tiger Woods. I mean, Tiger's just helping him hole after hole.
But he's right over his shoulder still.
I know, but
Hunter Mahan in with that 2 under round at +2. And now back to the Mechanic. His nickname. He referred to his workman-like swing, and the Mechanic heard something in the background. So
yeah, it's probably somebody moving, but
he's going to step back.